Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Abba Yahweh, we stand here this day asking for your presence, your honor amongst us, Israel, amongst this temple. Abba Yahweh, continue to make your presence felt across all the world, all those temples that are under your name at this very hour. Abba Yahweh, continue to place your Ruach into our vessels. Continue to guide us in the right direction. Guide us on that straight and narrow path. Abba Yahweh, continue to shield us from hurt, harm, and danger. Shield us from all the things throughout this world that might come down the line on Israel. Abba Yahweh gives us strength to stand in the day of adversity. Give us strength to be able to withstand anything should time may throw our way. Abba Yahweh, continue to spread your ahava amongst Israel. Continue to have that ahava within your people so we may spread that ahava amongst one another.
Hallelujah.
Being there for one another. Abba Yahweh, help us to be of one like mind. All thinking the same way. All being on the same accord. All striving for salvation. Abba Yahweh, continue in these days, these last days, to be with us, to shed your light before us. Even if we are surrounded by darkness in this world, Abba Yahweh, continue to shed your light before us. Continue to help us to walk in the footsteps of your Son, Yahshua HaMashiach, the true light of the world. Abba Yahweh, we told you for all that he has done for the world. And we continue to lift him up. We continue to hold him up, his name up above all names. And Abba Yahweh, continue to be with us in this time. Lift off any amount of sicknesses, diseases, illnesses, viruses that may be dwelling within our vessels. Abba Yahweh, help us to be sincere. Help us to be steadfast and to follow your ways without complaining, without being stressed, but Abba Yahweh, to follow in your ways and be delighted. Have that joy to want to follow in your ways, to want to do your will each and every day of our lives. In Yahshua HaMashiach's name we pray. Hallelujah. House of Israel, you may be seated. Shabbat Shalom, House of Israel. And I say Shabbat Shalom, all tuning on the live stream. I say welcome if we have any guests here today. And I say welcome if we have any new guests on the live stream. Today I want to read from the book of Tehillim. This is Psalms 49. Psalms 49 says, "Hear this, all you people. Listen, all who live in this world, both low and high, rich and poor alike. My mouth will speak words of wisdom. The utterance of my heart will give understanding. I will turn my ear to a proverb. With the harp I will expound my riddle. Why should I fear when evil days come? When wicked deceivers surround me, those who trust in their wealth and boast of their great riches. No man can redeem the life of another or give to Yahweh a ransom for him. The ransom for a life is costly. No payment is ever enough that he should live on forever and not see decay. The foolish and the senseless alike perish and leave their wealth to others. Their tombs will remain their houses forever, their dwellings for endless generations, though they had named lands after themselves. But man, despite his riches, does not endure. He is like the beasts that perish. This is the fate of those who trust in themselves and of their followers who approve their sayings. Like sheep, they are destined for the grave, and death will feed on them. The upright will rule over them in the morning. Their forms will decay in the grave, far from their princely mansions. But Yahweh will redeem my life from the grave. He will surely take me to himself. Do not be overawed when a man grows rich, when the splendor of his house increases, for he will take nothing with him when he dies. His splendor will not descend with him. Though while he lived, he counted himself Baruch, and men praise you when you prosper. He will join the generations of his fathers, who will never see the light of life. A man who has riches without understanding is like the beasts that perish. Hallelujah. Israel. So we see Yahweh not going to play with anyone. The people in the world may boast, brag on the riches, the things of this world that they may have, but guess what? They all going to die anyway. You can't take none of this stuff with you. So we all must tune ourselves for them heavenly things that Yahweh promised us, and not be jealous of the things that the world may have, because Yahweh has something better and greater for all of you all, as long as you strive to the very end. Hallelujah. And at this time, I'd like to turn the service over to Zarkane Dawid Yakinhan Sr. We want to receive him by saying the highest form of praise, by saying hallelujah.
I had my glasses. I'm usually up front another way. Shabbat Shalom, Yisrael. I'm usually this way. We told her, y'all, for the beauty of today, I'm usually coming out of the office. I just didn't get a chance to greet you all in Yahshua's precious name prior to the beginning of the service, but nevertheless, I got caught there. So we told her, y'all, for the beauty of another day, and it is a truly beautiful day. We told her, y'all, for the weather, for the winds, for the cool breeze, for all of that included, even with the activity of our limbs. We told y'all to see your precious faces in Yahshua. We give honor and praise to Abba Yahweh for the mighty presence of a beautiful people, the children of Israel that gather not just here, but wherever we are scattered throughout the face of this entire earth, as well as for those of you, told y'all, my precious Abba, as well as for those of you that join us by way of the live stream. We told y'all for the beauty of all of our actions, our activities, for the precious things that Yah has granted unto us as his people. I was listening as Deacon Reginald read from the scriptures about the wise man and the rich man and the beauty of Yah's equality. He says that when he leaves this earth, he's going to take nothing with him. And if that's not equality in Yahweh Yahshua, I don't know what is. I don't care how the nations of the world perceive themselves. But it is true that when we die, we are going to take none of this with us. But what we had better take with us is the precious approval of Abba Yahweh and his son Yahshua. Hallelujah. We better take that approval with us, that we might be resurrected, that we might be able to get up and to see his precious face in peace. That's something to carefully consider. I was looking back over some of the works. I'm going to try to work this in today, Yah willing. One of the messengers of Abba Yahweh, he was explaining to him how there was something that he had shown unto him. And that as Yah revealed that thing unto him, you're going to, in life, read Yah's word. And you're going to encounter things in the word as well as in your lives. Things that sometimes cannot be explained in the wisdom of man's words as they teach it. You're going to need the Ruach HaKodesh. You're going to need it. I'm going to need it. He's going to need it. She's going to need it. They're going to need it. We're going to need it. Us, them, whatever words. You can stand here all day and run out of words, descriptives, analogies, comprehensions, whatever it is to describe any and everything that Abba Yah has given breath. We're going to need him. And we're in a position where we're either going to need him and seek him, or we're going to need him and reject him. Those are the only two ways. And there is only one way for those that truly know Abba Yahweh. And that is to seek him, and to seek him in the Tainim. That is the perfection, the perfect way before Yahweh. And we need to understand that to be perfect before Yahweh is not us proclaiming our own righteousness now. To be perfect before Yahweh is to have hit the mark with a level of sincerity of one's life that will not have them cast aside, but to be delivered. And that's what we want, and that's what we want to seek after. I want to go over something today that is of primary importance for the people of Yahweh, for the children of Israel, for all that would tune in, even by way of the live stream. If people by chance just happen to stumble across this particular channel, or any channel where the children of Israel are preaching and teaching, then our prayer is that the word of Yahweh dwell richly within us and between us all. Hallelujah. There has been so much division. There has been a conquering spirit that has truly destroyed the children of Israel, but to a point and a degree that we should be mindful of it, that we should be watchful of that, to see it and to understand it. I watch the nations of the world and I see them at their Congress and their Senate hearings. I see them in their international meetings, the business world, the United Nations. These groups and organizations will get together and meet repeatedly, and will sit for hours, and will sit for days, and go over things so that it is all perfectly understood. The children of Israel will have to sit still for the word of Yahweh and do the same things. Hallelujah. We must sit still for the word of Yahweh. And the scripture reminds us, how can they hear without a preacher? But it also asks, and how can they preach except they be sent? We're going to have to look at that today. I was reading something that Abba Yahweh said unto Jeremiah the prophet, and he used two words. He says, I have not sent these prophets, but they ran. He says, I have not spoken unto them, but they prophesied. So now he did not send and he did not speak, but yet some were running. And simultaneously, the children of Israel are suffering from divisions, from lack of understanding, from disputes, from personalities, from egos, from spiritual deprivations. And yet, even in the natural eye, I want to say something I heard the minister say last night, and it is so true, that we have begun to rely exclusively upon ourselves, and yet we're not delivered. And to seek to rely upon ourselves as opposed to relying exclusively upon Yahshua. Somewhere along the line, except Yah has caused that blindness to hover over us, we would have to come to a particular point where we see that we need him more and more. Are you listening, Israel? We would have to understand that. Let's talk a little bit about believe not every spirit, but try the spirit. I want you to hear that. We want to try to define what trying the spirit is. Because you're going to have to measure the works of a man. I say this to you all the time, and there's no need to not say it today. Don't come in the sanctuary of Yahweh. Please don't even tune into the channel if you're not going to get your book and open up and read along with me. There is a specified value to reading the word for yourself. And the value comes in that when one is reading and one is listening, you might not be able to fully hear or understand every word as articulated by the messenger. But Yah has baruched us in this age and in this era of time whereby we all now have access to the book. And thereby having access to the book, we are without excuse as far as not reading it for ourselves. There's a value to that because we come to a greater level of understanding when we search the scripture. That's what the word commands. It says that we should search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life. But then he says concerning the scriptures that it be they which testify of me. If Yahshua is our Redeemer, and in him is given all power, and he can grant unto us that life, then we have to search the scriptures. This is what the Israelite community must come to understand. We have no place for the commentaries, for the dialogue, for the wayside back, the distribution, and the personal opinions on Yah's word, because there is something so new, so unique, so dynamic to read, to learn, and to understand in the word of Yahweh all the days of our lives that we have no need for a commentary, no need for an opinion, no need for a debate, because it is the word of Abba Yahweh, and the wisdom of Yahweh's word is our foundation. That's what we should be looking at. Yisrael, let's do this. Let's turn to the book of Yohanan, or the book of John. First John, that is. Let's go way back, almost to the end of the book. Let's go right back there. Let's go to First John. Let's deal with this here as best we can. Chapter 4. As we read the word of Yahweh, we should always take great delight in the word. The scriptures is not something that should depress you, Israel. It is our salvation. It is the blessing of Israel. It is the opening of our relationship to Yahweh by way of his written word. And we should take great delight in the word of Yahweh. Hallelujah. I don't care what the word says. The world says. The world takes great delight in any and everything, but they don't take delight in the word of Yahweh the way that they should. Because if we took delight in the word of Yahweh the way that we should, sometimes a lot of the problems that Shaitan seeks to buffet us with would be the equivalent of just swatting away at a gnat. Are you listening, Israel? It should be the equivalent of swatting away at a gnat, not the equivalent of having been hit and run over by a rhino. or an elephant. Because see, sometimes that's how the problems of life overtake us as a nation. It's like we've been tackled by an elephant. But it is because of our sins and our transgressions that we are even in this particular part of the world. And if it is because of our sins and our transgressions, and that we as a nation must be redeemed, I look at the world and I look at the world closely. I hear the people who say that they are the children of Yahweh, the Yahudim, and are not. Yahshua had a fight with these people. He said that they say they are Yahudim, he said, and are not, but do lie. It is imperative that we understand. He said somebody's lying. And I look at the history of this thing, and I look at the relation, how people will claim to be the children of Yahweh, but yet the greatness of the trials and the severity of their suffering and their transgressions against Yahweh and having paid for their sins are so prevalent in all the earth that they match only one specific group of people. And it is a funny thing how people go in the book and they find all the good and all the beautiful things that they want to match themselves. But when it comes down to the transgression of the Torah of Yahweh, and Yahweh's paying his nation for their rebellion against him, nobody wants to identify with that. And you don't want to identify it in a way of bragging or boasting or sticking one's chest out because you think yourself to just be a Hebrew. It's not about Hebrewism. It is about strict adherence to what is written in the Torah. And if it is about what is written in the Torah, then let's be honest in this, man. A Christian should be able to sit down, read this book, and see that these are the things that Yah said we must do, and do that.
Hallelujah.
You hear me? A Buddhist should be able to sit down and read the things that are in his book and come to the conclusion that these are the things we must do, and do them. It's not about your culture. It's not about your religion. It's not about any of that. It is about complete obedience unto the commands of Abba Yahweh. So all the nations of the world, they're wrong. There's no doubt about that. They're wrong. But this is where it gets strikingly interesting. Because the children of Israel, they're wrong too. They're wrong. Yah says unto Israel, he says, who is blind but my servant? Or who is deaf but my messenger that I sent? See, the children of Israel cannot be led and guided by men today that don't believe in the Ruach. I'm going to look at a simple passage in the book. We're going to look at a man. We're going to look at the beauty of a man who we find in no way whereby he claimed to be this great and profound prophet or this grand man of Yahweh, but yet Abba Yahweh sent a messenger unto him. And the way in which the messenger dealt with this man of Yahweh, because of the precarious situation in life that he and he alone was placed in. No other man was placed in the position that this man was placed in. And yet he had to have a revelation in order to carry out his instructions. He had to be spoken to in a way where he knew that it was of Yahweh. I'm not buying that crap that a lot of people want to push upon the children of Israel. You cannot stay in the natural realm forever. You must seek the Ruach, and you must be guided by the presence of Almighty Yahweh's Ruach, or as we say in the English language, by his spirit. We must be guided by that. See, we're not going to teach and to deal in the wisdom of man's words that man teaches, because that will fail us in the end. It is the Ruach of Yahweh. It is the spirit that guides us. And if that spirit of Abba Yahweh could speak to a man's mind, then we're going to have to comprehend some things. So I'm going to take my time as I get to that, because as we get to that, we'll say, I never looked at that like that before. Because I know I had never looked at it like that before until I prayed concerning that. And as Yah began to open my eyes and my understanding to it, I said, it's just so simple. It's so plain. But we see the validity of Yah's word and his power when he says in Yahshua, he has hidden these things from the wise and the prudent and has revealed them unto babes. So if Yah can hide great and knowledgeable things from the wise of the world so that they cannot see it, then it is the power of a world that is unseen that can transpose itself upon the world that we presently know. And then it can overshadow our minds as we have come to understand our mind, that it might open our understanding to that which we see with the natural eye, but yet cannot discern with our spiritual eye, unless it's open. And you take time to think about what I just said. because that's what it's going to take. That's what it's going to take. The translators have looked at the book. They've looked at the language. They've looked at the words. They've studied it carefully, but they are void of the Ruach. And yet Yah, in his infinite wisdom, has allowed them to skim the surface of his word with words so profoundly. Yet, because they lack the Ruach, they cannot see it. They cannot experience the joy of it. And thereby, they cannot walk into it. False prophets do the same thing, Israel. False prophets can handle the book, and they can handle the book extensively. But if they're void of the Ruach, you can get yourself in trouble by following them. Do you understand why it is so imperative that you pray for the messengers of Yahweh, that he touch their hearts and their minds, that he keep them in the straight and narrow path? This is what Israel must come to understand as a nation, man. I watch us as a people, man. We talk a lot around the Americas, man. I'm just going to deal with the Americas today. Because we here in America right now, we're in the belly of the beast. We're in the most powerful nation right now upon the face of the earth, because America is imposing its political will, its economic will, it's imposing its technology and different things on the world. And the world is accepting that. You've never in your life seen Japanese cowboys. You've never seen the Russians dancing karaoke, singing Earth, Wind, and Fire, things like that. They don't even understand the words. They hear it, they speak it, they dance to them, they gyrate to them. Their culture is being imposed all around the world. I was looking at some videos in Africa. The children in Africa are doing the same thing children do here in America. A fight breaks out. They say that we're dirt poor. They show us with bones in our noses and sandals, or sometimes no shoes on our feet. But a fight breaks out in Africa, and the children are standing with their phones filming it, just like they do here in America. Come on, man. So we don't look at the world as we ought to look at the world. We're going to need this. Here's what the book says, 1 John 4:1. Beloved, believe not every ruach. Now I have to take this verse here personal. I'll tell you why I have to take it personal. Because see, it has my first name in it. It says here, that we believe not every ruach. Did y'all catch that? So I'll open up and say that today's message, it's to me. That we believe not every ruach, but try the ruachs, whether they are of Yahweh. Because many false prophets are gone out into the world. Are you listening, Israel? So you're not going to take everything and or everybody down. Sometimes it doesn't even pay to try to fight with everybody. Come on. And sometimes, man, some stuff you got to leave it alone. Y'all allow things to rise up and to go, come on, man. The Apostle Shaul, we went over that a week or so ago. The Apostle Shaul said that sometimes these types of doubts and disputes, he said that these things would arise that they that are sent by Yahweh might be made manifest. Sometimes you do have to go up against it. But you're not going to go up against things today in just the flesh. I want you to understand that. That which is of the flesh is of the flesh. That which is of the spirit or of the ruach, it is of the ruach. And it's going to overshadow all. And this is what Israel must come to understand. We can't play around with the word of Yahweh and just read the book, read the book, read the book. Come on now. You can read Yahweh's word and miss things. That's why it calls for the ruach to be upon this particular nation. This is what makes Israel a great nation. When they obey Yahweh, the blindness of the word of Yahweh hits the nations. They cannot keep it because he did not give it to them. When Israel seeks to keep it and walks therein, the nations will see your wisdom. That's what the book says. And they shall say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. But all at the same time, the greatness of that wisdom, the understanding of that people will be no cause for puffiness. Let me explain that one. It's going to be no cause for Israel to stick their chest out. You're still going to have to remain, if we use the word humble, you're going to have to remain in a lowly state, because it is Abba Yahweh that will lift us up. And we as a nation, we have a lot to learn. I want you to hear what I'm saying. We have a lot to learn. We don't know about the world. We don't understand that the world operates on the pattern of Yahweh. with the exception of one thing. They cannot obey. But the general order of how everything is run, the sun shines every day. It sets every day. The moon, the stars, they do all the things that they do. The wind blows. The rain falls. The waters go back and forth. Everything operates according to the pattern of Yahweh. And he gave man dominion over all of that. I read in his word where he said that he decreed for the children of Israel to even be created as a nation before he made the foundations of the world. I've read even further where he says that from the moment Adam transgressed, all that has, that is, and will take place was decreed. So then there is no stopping it. The children of Israel must take great delight in Yahweh's word. I don't see how people can read the word of Yahweh and get bored. There's something new and exciting in the word of Yahweh all the days of your life. I don't see how the children of Israel can read Yahweh's word and get bored. I was on the job site the other day. We didn't have a whole lot to do. Didn't have a lot to do. Didn't need both of us there supervising and overseeing the crew. I got bored. I jumped right in the truck and I came here and sat down and I began to study. And as I began to study and to read and to pray and to meditate over the word of Yah, I came to life. But out in the field, I got bored. So we as the people of Yahweh, we have an extreme advantage over the world. Come on, man. We have an advantage over the world. And we don't even take advantage of the advantage because we have grotesquely underestimated the power of Yahshua. This is what Yisrael is a we have grotesquely underestimated the power of Yahshua. We just come through his memorial. We just come through his crucifixion. We just come through his resurrection. So then his power and his strength should be upon us as a nation at this particular time of the year, the renewing of the year. We should be fully renewed and charged in our strength. Do you hear me, Israel? This microphone piece here, it has to operate off of a battery system. And if you know anything about batteries and the way they work now, most electronic devices, they have a meter. They show you how much strength is in your batteries. You look at a cell phone, you'll have a phone and it's charged and it shows you your battery strength. More often than not, you tend to get a little concerned when that battery strength gets below 50%. Am I correct? Okay, I got to do the same thing with this system. I take great pains to make certain that the battery's at 100% because I don't know how long I might teach, and I don't want to take the chance that the battery system runs out in the midst of dealing with it. So then, why would the children of Israel, in the power and strength of their energy, which is the Ruach HaKodesh, why would we take a chance to leave home without it? Not even on 50%, but without it. Why would we even take the chance to seek to preach and to teach without it? It is our energy. It is our life source. It is our strength. And it is in Yahshua that we have our essence and our being and our totality. So we should be charged up in the word of Yahweh. Am I making sense, Yisrael? We should be fully charged up, but not in the arrogance of a level of energy that refuses to allow us to see. I had a young man come after me about some things that I said on the air early in the week, and he's just hot and heavy. He was just charging at me. And I had a woman charge at me about something that another man said. I said, what the hell are you calling me for? Why don't you call him? She says, well, I don't deal with him. I don't talk. I said, well, then I didn't say it. Don't talk to me. You talk to him. She said, well, I'm talking to you because I'm a child of God. I said, well, I don't give a damn. I'm a messenger of Yahweh. You are out of order. Who the hell do you think you're talking to? And she got a little offended. I don't give a damn. And I'm not using that in the sense of profanity. I mean it in the highest sense of a spiritual curse. I said, woman, I don't know who do you think you are talking to. But I'm not going to let you talk to me and then hide behind your damn dirty Jesus. And when it's time to apply the principles of what it is that you claim you're living by, suddenly you fall short. You don't know what to do. Get the hell off of my phone. And I hung up. So a few minutes passed. She calls back. So I answer. I said, look, lady, you're starting to push my nerves, okay? I ain't got a lot of time to keep on trying to talk nice to you because I think I've been nice to you over the years. And I have officially taken the gloves off. I ain't got time to play with you. She goes into a spiel about loving and all this. I said, well, look, this is what we're going to do. We can just agree that we're going to part company. I said, the apostles Shaul and Barnabas had contention between them that was so sharp that they just had to part company. She says, no, 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 no. Let's not do that. We can't stop loving each other. I said, to part company does not mean that you stop loving one another. It just means that you're not going to agree on that which should be agreeable if it's the word. I'm not going to yield in y'all's word for you or no one. And she was offended. See, that's how people do. They don't want you to cut off. I don't have a problem cutting off with anyone. I'm going to tell you straight out the gate. I don't have a problem with that. I wasn't a twin. I was born alone, which means I'm going to die alone. In the end, when it's time to die, listen, no one's coming to save you. When it's time to die, you're going to die for yourself and you're going to die alone. At least die right. Are you listening? Yes, right now. See, people don't want you to cut them off because for whatever reason, people, they draw strength from your life source. Don't let anybody suck your spirit. Don't let anybody suck your energy out of you like that. See, a lot of times people think because you walk quietly or softly with them, they think that you're weak. Until you're forced to demonstrate the power and the strength of Yah or to draw the sword on them. People have always done that to me. They've always grotesquely underestimated me until it's too late. Well, that's the rule of warfare. You never allow your enemy to see all your strength until it's too late to stop it. You don't demonstrate your muscle, your might, and your strength. You hear what I'm saying? And truth be told, let's say this here right now. America, the people of the darker complexion, they got in trouble because a man paraded all their strength before the world. Let me say that one real slow. A man that doesn't even serve Yahweh. He paraded the strength of the nation before the world. And it had upset this nation in a way where they began to gear up for you. They began to prepare for you. They began to put military strategies in place to deal with you. They took the come, let us deal wisely with them approach because somebody paraded their army out before the world and then did nothing after the parade. I'm just throwing it out there to see if I got this straight. He asked for 1 million men, but 2 million showed up. And it ran the president of the United States out of the Washington, D.C. area. He went down into Texas to give a speech because he was a little country boy. But he ran to the state of the cowboy that was coming behind him to show you, okay, you all want to flex? We're going to put a fighter on you. And they put that cowboy in the office. And all slews of laws and things came on the books that we have yet to understand to this day. So as I stood up this week and I stood up against something that was coming and that was emerging, and I began to talk about it and to make it plain for the people so that everybody could see it. People got mad. And I looked at the people that were getting mad because I'm like, look at you. You're in on that. You're in on. You're okay. I'm glad. Hey, look here. This is like smoked bacon. You smoked it and the flavor come out. So look at that. Everything rising up. Messages like this will smoke out the pork in Israel. And see, we should know that we cannot eat pork. You don't even want your food smoked or flavored with it. You hear me? So it's the word of Yahweh that will smoke us out if we're wrong in any manner. Let's get into this because see, the spiritual wisdom of Yahweh, it has its origins and foundation in Yahweh alone, okay? Did you hear me? Spiritual wisdom has its origin and foundation in Yahweh and Yahweh alone. Let's go to the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 1. We as the children of Israel, I implore all Israel, stop your beefing, your battling, and your disputing among one another and open the book. Begin to walk the way that Abba Yah commands that we walk. 1 Corinthians 2:1. I want you to listen to the power of Yahweh as the Apostle Shaul breaks something down. And I, brethren, when I came to you, came not with the excellency of speech or of wisdom, declaring unto you the testimony of Yahweh. You hear that? When I came to you, I didn't come with the excellency of speech or of wisdom, declaring unto you the testimony of Yahweh. For I determined not to know anything among you. I like the way he came. He came humble. He came in other words, look, I don't know a lot, but this is what I know. And what I know, I'm firm in this. This is what he's saying, okay? You have to watch men today who always proclaim their wisdom. You listen to people sometimes when you teach people, you talk to people about things, they say, I had an apprentice, I'm teaching him, I'm showing something. He said, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. No, 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 no. You don't know. If you knew, you wouldn't be doing it wrong. I said, now, unlike a piece of lumber, my dear friend, we can snatch that, pop the nails out, and take it down. This is masonry. You put this up, it's going to stand. So we're not going to do it twice. Let's do this thing the right way. So he says, for I determined to not know anything among you, save Yahshua HaMashiach, and him crucified. He says, I don't try to know anything but him. He says, him I know. And I was with you in weakness and in fear and in much trembling. You hear that? In other words, when he went to speak to the people, he came before them. His own weaknesses were open to them. They were displayed. He had a fear. Sometimes you stand in deference to people that have a level of knowledge in this particular area or that area greater than yourself. And thereby you are compelled to stand in deference to them with a level of fear or respect. You hear what I'm saying? This is what he was describing when he went to speak to the people. But that didn't mean that the man was weak. And it did not mean that he did not know his subject matter. But it means that he did not go there to declare the greatness of himself in his subject matter. Am I making sense? He didn't go there to declare his greatness in his subject matter. And my speech and my preaching was not with enticing words of man's wisdom. You hear that? He didn't have a big, bad, broad vocabulary trying to be the grand orator or the most excellent of scholars. We know that the brother was scholarly in the word of Yahweh. Scholarship comes because of an inordinate amount of study. That's how one becomes scholarly. One must study. But it is overshadowed by the wisdom of the Ruach of Almighty Yahweh. You listening? This is the excellence of scholarship that Yah puts upon his messengers. And every messenger of Yah that comes before us, they're not all going to be speaking in the same general speech patterns, the same tone, the same emotionalism, the same raw dynamism of display. They're not going to all do that. People tend to get partial towards leadership. Well, I like his preaching. I like this one. Oh, I don't like that one too tough. But if they're all on one accord, and they're dealing in the depth of the word of Abba Yahweh, you are partial to that one because you are at a particular level where you relate to that one. But this one is partial to that one because they are at a particular level where they can relate to that one and the oration or the ability to articulate it, or to that one, or to this one. That is the way that Abba Yah gives unto Israel messengers with the messages that he wants them to have in the age in which they live. Come on, Yisrael. You cannot tell me that Abba Yah sent messengers of old to have messages that did not come to pass in their lifetimes, but for your lifetime and mine. And now we disregard them and be right. Not so. So we have to remind ourselves, we have to remind others that, hold it now, they strived. Just like you say you're striving. But there's a difference. According to the book, they've made it. They're counted. They're in. But according to the book, it says that the earth and all of the creations thereof lie in groanings, waiting for the adoption of us, that we might make it. We therefore cannot afford to throw away the works of them that preceded us, whether they be what we can consider contemporaries, that is, messengers of Yahweh in this lifetime, or the men of old. And I'm certainly going to trust the works of the men of old. And I'm talking now the prophets, the nabi's, the writers of the word. I'm certainly going to trust their word because I trust the methodology by which they received it greater than I will men in this age in which I live. I want y'all to hear what I'm saying now. I trust them because, see, they didn't have Strong. They didn't have Dake. They didn't have Zondervan. They did not have Oxford, Cambridge, Harvard, Yale. They had one university, the University Hashemayim. They had one. They had one. We have today at our disposal a multiplicity of sources that can confuse us all. Come on, yes, right here. Don't get offended. Brother told me we got to look at the Greek. He said because the Greek is a perfect language. That's bull, my friend. I was reading in one of the translations the other day. The Europeans wrote it in there. They said because of the imprecision. In the footnote said because of the imprecise nature of the Greek language, we prefer to interpret everything from the Hebrew, its original. I said, look at that, the footnote. Even they have to acknowledge it's imprecise. We're not going to accept Greek. No, sir, we're not going to do that. That's right. We'll throw that out. And stick with the language that Yah chose. Yah chose to speak to Israel in a particular language like that for a particular reason. And therefore, we cannot overrule that reason. Now we got another problem. Because we got so many Hebrews saying that they're looking at Hebrew too. So then they got 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 20 different ways to say the name of Abba Yahweh, to say the name of his son Yahshua. Who we going to believe? You hear what I'm saying? We got a lot going on as the children of Israel. And therefore, as the messengers of Yah, I keep using the phrase, I'm going to do the best I can. Because if y'all give it to me, and he give it to me whatever way he give it to me, then that's the best that he gave me. I'm going to do that. And I always give credit to messengers of Yah because there's got to be someone somewhere on the earth that can lay it down 1,000 times deeper than I can. But with what little that Yah grants unto me, we're going to total Yah, and we're going to continue in that. Do you hear me, Yisrael? We got to continue in the things that we've learned. That's what the scripture says. If I do anything else, I'm violating the book. It says, continue the things that you have learned. Somebody had to teach us. You don't just pop up like a wild weed from a marijuana plant or something just growing out in the field. You don't pop up like that in Abba Yah. He's got to be dwelling within us. There was a lineage process to this. I don't know if people understand that there was a lineage to this. There was a way that Yah says this. Genetically, this thing is morally, it is spiritually, it is genetically ingrained within the children of Israel. Come on, man. And Israel got to know this. So the apostle says that my speech and my preaching was not with the enticing words of man's wisdom, but in the demonstration of the Ruach and of power. There must, at some particular point in time, be a demonstration of the power of Almighty Yah upon his messengers, within the ranks of his people, somehow, some way. Do you hear what I say? Come on, man. I heard a story the other day. My Isha was telling me about a precious Ima. She was leaving work and the rain was quite heavy. She prayed to Abba Yah, slow the rains down. And he moved so that the rain didn't get heavy till our precious Ima got home. Come on, man. You're not going to tell me Yah didn't move? He moved. What are you going to do? Just tell me it was a coincidence? Let me see if I got this straight. Somebody pray like that and you say it was just a coincidence that that's how Yah moved? Come on, my dear friend. I remember one of the winters here in Maryland, there was a snowstorm that was scheduled to hit the East Coast. They were talking about how rough this snowstorm was going to be. It was a rough winter on me in construction. We didn't work too much that year. Money and funds were tight. People needed to put fuel in their tanks and different things like that. And we prayed. We asked Abba Yah, and we said these very words. We said, Abba Yah, please, if it be your will, don't let those 3 to 4 feet of snow that they're calling for, don't let it hit us. We ask you in Yahshua's name, let it bear all around us. Don't you hear the word we said? We said, let it bear all around us. And the snowstorm hit the East Coast, my friend. You get a map, you look at America, it hit the East Coast. I'm going to tell you what it did. It come on up, it hit Florida. They don't even get snow and things like that. It hit, it come on up. And lo and behold, when it got to the Maryland region, it hit like a capital C. And it bear around. And it went on up. We know what we asked for. Don't go praying. Don't go asking for things if you don't believe that Yah's going to do it. Don't go praying for it if you don't believe it. Because see, you got some that they operate in the flesh. In all things, everything is just done in the flesh. We got to get beyond that. There are some things that are going to happen in this earth that are beyond your control. A messenger said to me, says, sometimes we expect too many miracles. I looked at the brothers, he said it. I'm thinking to myself, that's got to be the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I didn't dispute him right then and there. I just listened to him. I did what the book said. It says, try the spirit to see whether they are of Yahweh. I didn't condemn the man. He said, I just listen. So I don't pounce on every little thing, every little transgression. People say, sometimes you hear a thing, you just let it blow. He said, okay, we wait that one out. We're going to see. Try the spirit. You try it on me. Because I'm going to try it on you. I'm going to try it on myself. And I suggest you do this. Ask yourselves, now, am I operating in the right way? Am I operating in the right command? Am I operating in the proper capacity? You got to ask yourselves that, okay? Yes, right, yeah? Don't just go operating from the thought process that I'm right, I'm right, I'm right, I'm right. Don't go operating from that. Ask Abba Yahweh to make us real. You hear me? Let me pause for 1 second. I want to go to something. In the event we don't know how to pray, here's a good instruction for something we should pray for, okay? I want to show you something. In the book of Yahudah, right before Revelation, the book of Jude, it's just one chapter book. So in verse 3, I want you to hear this here. It says, Beloved, again, I'm taking this personal. David, when I gave all diligence to write unto you of the common salvation, it was needful for me to write unto you and exhort you that you should earnestly contend for the faith, which was once delivered unto the Kedushim. Did y'all hear that? If by chance you don't know how to pray, there is now an instruction. Pray that Abba Yahweh make you real, like he made the apostles. Pray that Abba Yahweh make you real, like he made the prophets. Pray that Abba Yahweh make us real, like he did many of the imams of old. Are you listening? Pray that Yahweh make us real. Don't go under the assumption we're real and we're always right. Do not, I repeat, do not function in the world like that. We can have the Ruach HaKodesh and still make a mistake. Let me say that one real slow. David was a man after Yahweh's own heart, but he was also a man in the flesh. And his weakness caused him to make a mistake on several occasions. But he also knew to pray. And he asked Abba Yahweh, cast me not away from your presence, and take not your Ruach from me. Why would a man pray like that if the man didn't realize that he was wrong at some particular point in time? Am I making any sense today, Yisrael? See, we have to be so careful in our walk with Yahweh that we are so careful in it that we want to do right. And that as we want to do right, when Abba Yah is pleased with us and our desire to do right, he will make us right. You hear me? He will make us right. And I told her, y'all, for that. That thing just shut off. Told her, y'all. Y'all all right? Y'all cool? Y'all warm? How you feel? It's always at least 10 to 15 degrees warmer up here than it is down there with you all that. So bear with me if by chance. I won't cry about it. But then again, dear brother, wait a minute. I told her, y'all. Works every time, my dear friend. Works every time. So Yah commands that Israel should contend for the Imuna, which was once delivered unto the Kedush. Notice, didn't have to keep being delivered to them. It was delivered unto them once. That's what we want. A lot of times people are playing. Even in the Assemblies of Yah, they in the Assemblies of Yah playing church. Stop that. You ain't got to play church. This isn't the church. We don't have to play real. We have to seek to be real. What's the matter? We just have to be real. So the Apostle Shaul, let's go back to 1 Corinthians 2. He says, howbeit, we speak wisdom among them that are perfect. Wait a minute. I mentioned this earlier. Listen to what he says. He says, we speak wisdom among them that are perfect Tamim. Tamim. Perfect. This is one now that is sincere. This is one that is so sincere that they're striving to not make a mistake. They're striving to not be in error. They're striving to simply be the perfection of what Yah commands that his Kedushim should be. You hear me? So the apostle is giving them credit for being sincere and for striving, for hitting some portions or aspects of the mark, or he would have never said that. He says, yet not the wisdom of this world, nor of the princes of this world that come to nothing. You see that? The measure and the wisdom of these men, it comes to nothing. You look at the wisdom of Prince Charles today, they talk about how wise he is. He goes out in his garden. There's certain types of flowers he likes to check on, and he grows them, and he eats the flowers, the different things like that. He's wise. The world looks to him. They really do. They look to Prince Charles. And you read some of the things that he's into, you just say, you keep on going, okay? That's it. But we speak the wisdom of Yahweh. Listen to this. In a mystery, even the hidden wisdom, which Yahweh ordained before the world, unto our glory, or to our cabal. You hear how we talk? See, this is why a lot of times men cannot understand the dynamic nature of the kingdom message. They cannot see it. So we look at the book, we see word. Do you all realize something so profound about the word of Yah? It says that it was preached unto the children of Israel, that they might go and stumble and fall backward, be broken, snared, and taken. It says, but the word was preached unto them, precept upon precept, precept upon precept. Line upon line, line upon line. But then something miraculous also took place. He said, here a little, and there a little. He gave this messenger that portion and the revelation of it. And though he didn't understand all of it, what he was given, he understood completely. So then he wrote that. Someone else comes along behind him and picks up on that. He goes a little more deeper, gives a little greater detail. So then another comes behind him years later, sometimes hundreds, if not thousands of years later, and tie it together so that Israel today gets to see the beauty of the picture. But a messenger of Yah today, we cannot preach this and be blind to the marvelous things that Abba Yah is going to do in this earth. He's going to take this back. This earth belongs to Yahweh and Yahshua. So we can't miss that. He's going to take it. So he says, we speak the wisdom of Yahweh in a mystery, even the hidden wisdom which Yahweh ordained before the world unto our glory, which none of the princes of this world knew. For had they known it, they would not have crucified our Redeemer of glory. They didn't understand him, though they had the wisdom of their age that they were in. They did not understand what they were doing. We today do not understand what we're doing because you even have Hebrews today that deny Yahshua. Listen, as a Hebrew, you are not going to deny Yahshua and then have the power of Yahweh, because Yahshua is the demonstration of the power of Yahweh that is to be given unto men. These brothers, they're gonna skirt around the demonstration of the power of Yahweh, ascribe it unto themselves, and throw the power away. That's numbness of the mind, man. Do we realize that man had power over fire? He had power over the air. He had power over all of these things. The transgression that's mentioned in the Bereshit, we don't get the whole story because, again, men who thought that they understood the word so well decided to remove these things. Let's scatter this portion away from that portion and hide it. Why didn't they tell the truth? If they had so much of it, they didn't have the Ruach, the guiding force. I want to explain something that the world doesn't understand. See, sometimes the world, in the greatness of its own wisdom, they don't even have the wisdom of the children of Israel, sometimes in their lowest state. Did you hear that? They don't even have. Listen, I was talking to a young man early in the week, and he spent about 13 years in prison. I was explaining something to him. I said, listen, my friend, let me explain something to you real quick. Let's get this over with. You don't even have the wisdom that Malcolm X had in his worst state going into prison. So don't compare yourself to the man now. You don't even have the understanding he had when he was at his worst state. And yet, you say you're conscious. And it shut him down. He was like, he couldn't figure it out. Come on, man. This is the way the wisdom of Abba Yahweh works. Come on, man. We follow the way of the world and we do this. I'm going to tell you all something. Let's go further. Let's get into this. Let's let the word of Yah speak for itself. Because this is a beautiful message, man. This is to all of us. So he said, but as it is written, eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which Yahweh hath prepared for them that love him. Do you love him today, Yisrael? You have not been able to perceive, to understand, and to pick up on the thing that Yahweh has in store for those that obey him, that love him, that wait for him, because he has not even shown the greatness of all of it to all of us. There are men in Israel that even preach today that cannot see, that cannot discern. Come on, you don't get a greater example of the power of Abba Yah upon a messenger other than Ahiyah the Nabi. Come on, man. When the kingdom of Israel was being torn down, the king and the king's sons and everybody were dying, and who's it? Rehoboam's wife disguised herself. She went to the prophet of Yahweh. He was blind. He was old. He couldn't see, but he could see. And he says to her when she hit the door of his house, "Come in. You're the wife of Jeroboam. Why have you disguised yourself?" Now that would mess anybody's head up. You walk into a blind man, you go, "Let me put this on so nobody know who I am." You walk in there and the man take, now you gonna stop. And I tell you all the honest truth. I know that was a long journey for her going back home. Because the words and the message that he gave unto her was heartbreaking. As long as she endured outside the confines of the city, the child lived. But he told her, as soon as your feet hit the city, the child shall die. How does a man of Yahweh speak like that if something has not transcended a world unseen to enter into the world as we know it, to enter into another world that most of us have yet to even understand, though we possess it? What world am I talking about? Your own mind. Think about what I just said. We don't understand the depth of revelation. Revelation ain't just coming by way of the books, the news. You know, I read newspapers and books and stuff. I read all day, every day. I read. Revelation doesn't come by way of that. That's learning. That's rote learning. That's repetitious learning. Revelation comes from Abba Yahweh. See, our father laid down, and he saw the Malachim of Abba Yah ascending and descending upon the ladder. And as he awakened, he said, "Surely Elohim is in this place." And he named the place Paniel. You hear what I'm saying? The Paniel, or the pineal gland today, starts up in here. And it works its way all the way down one spine. Sometimes the thing happens in a way where it causes the hair on the back of our neck to stand up. Is that not how Eob described it? Says something happened, something came in his room, and it caused the hair on the back of his neck to stand up. Come on, what was he sensing? What was he discerning? What was in his presence if it wasn't something from another world that understood the dynamic of the world that it was from, and that it could transcend time and space to enter into the world that he was in? And as if that wasn't enough, it entered into the deepest, darkest of all worlds, the man's mind, that he might understand. Are you listening? See how that little gnat, he entered into your world, right? He all in your space. He in your world now. But you see, the children of Israel must come to understand the beauty of a relationship with Yahweh like that. We don't understand it. We can't be like the Gentiles. Can't be like them Jimmy Swaggart and all them guys, Billy Graham and Joel Osteen, all them guys, Grab Your Dollar and all the rest of them. We can't be like them guys. Them guys sit here and read this stuff all day long, and they're going to give you some very deep, fanciful words. And if you're stupid, they'll have you hooked. But now somebody come along and they delve into the depth and the beauty of Yah's Torah and then the power of the Ruach and can teach us things that the mind can't understand until Abba Yah opens our understanding of it. Come on, man. They don't want to hear that. So he says, but Yahweh have revealed them unto us, look, by his Ruach. For the Ruach searcheth all things, yeah, the deep things of Yahweh. For what man knoweth the things of a man, save the Ruach of man which is in him? Well, think about that. They write books on psychology. I got one of the most amazing books in the house I've read a while back. A book called The Wisdom of Psychopaths. Let me tell you a little bit about it. That's why I say, wow. The Wisdom of Psychopath. It goes into a discussion of psychopathic personality. You know that ain't a good personality. We all agree to that, right? But they go into an excellent analysis of the mind of a psychopath. So as I was reading the book, I'm like, okay, how did they draw this type of conclusion? Because hey, there come a time when you can talk with some people that are so stupid or so wickedly wise that they have the power of words where they can confuse and trip up your mind. Before long, your thought process is theirs. You're in agreement with something that if you're not prayerful and not understanding, you'll miss out. So in the wisdom of psychopaths, they study the different minds and they draw this wickedly wild conclusion, but yet it's perfect for this world because we expect nothing less. They say that a psychopathic personality can function without nervousness. You know, a person get nervous. Sometimes people put their hands, their hand be shaking and trembling like that and done something wrong. They can't shoot a person or something. They get nervous. But now a psychopath, he can put the bullets in the gun. He can admire the gun. He can see the beauty of the gun. He can point it at you. Pow! You still moving? No. Pow! And going about his business. You understand? That type of mind can't feel anything for anyone. They're not easily caught. They say that the psychopathic mind of a murderer is one that's not easily caught. A serial killer, they're not easily caught because they can function under tremendous pressure. Having just raped or murdered someone, and the police be right there in the vicinity to say, "Oh, there's such and such a thing around the corner, officer. Let me help you." And they'll insert themselves into the scene of the crime and have no fear of getting caught because there's a level of excitement to it. They were drawing the book to a conclusion by saying, truth be told, in many instances in life, you would want a psychopathic personality in charge because they have the skills to deliver. And they said you would want a psychopathic personality to run these Fortune 500 companies because he doesn't get bothered by laying off thousands in order to make billions. They said you would rather have a psychopathic surgeon because he is not afraid to make a mistake. But he can go in and do the hard surgery, even if it means if he nicks the artery and you die, say, well, look, I tried, but I just couldn't get around it. I nicked that artery, so he died. But if by chance he goes in, he has no connection to you, no fear, no love, no nothing, and he can work right around that artery like it's nothing, like he's fixing a car. And if you don't die, you get healed, you get put back together. But the man was a nutcase. He was demonic. He was possessed. He was out of his mind. But he pulled it off because it's the thrill of it all. Are you listening to what I'm saying? And basically the book was simply saying that's the kind of mind we need to govern the world. We need people that are fearless in what they do so that they can pull it off. That's not the Ruach of Abba Yahweh. And that's not wisdom. But I read it because, see, now it gives me an understanding into the satanic mindset. So we look up sometimes, we wonder, well, why did they do that? Why did they do this? Well, if there is no Ruach within that mind, there's nothing left but the spirit of Shaitan, the wicked one. And he cares nothing about life. So now the messengers of Yah cannot have that kind of mind. We have to be of a sound mind. Is that not what the book says? Come on, we got to be thinking. So he says here, for what man knoweth the things of a man, save the ruach of a man which is in him. This is how they understood the mind of a psychopath, because they had to be psychopathic themselves to sit and study them that deep to say, wow, man, you're crazy, but you pulled that off. You did it. How'd you do that? He said, well, I did it because I didn't give a damn. I just did it. So, well, all right. Well, you're tired of working here? Come on over to this company. Well, tell us what we need to do here. So, well, you got too many employees. But yeah, they all have been faithful from the foundation of the company, and their lives and their homes and their mortgages depend on it. Do you want to make billions? Or do you want to make pennies? Oh, well, I'd like to be. Well, come on, let me show you how we do it. Next thing you know, people have job lost, their homes, they're depressed, they're at their wits' end, and they go into that same spirit. They kill themselves or they kill others. These are how mass shootings and things like that take place. It's not so with Abba Yahweh. You hear what I say? Come on, Yisrael. Now we have not received the Ruach of the world. Stop. I just told you about the spirit of the world. They say they don't mind having psychopaths in charge because sometimes it's a good thing. Isn't that what I just said they said? So they don't mind. But look at the people of Yahweh. We have not received the Ruach of the world, but the Ruach which is of Yahweh. That's what you want more than anything, Yisrael. When Deacon read that scripture and he talked about the rich man, when he died, he ain't taking none of it with him. You don't want that. You want the Ruach of Yahweh, because that's the seal and the guarantee that you're going to get up and see his blessed face in peace. Am I making sense? Believe not every spirit, but try the spirits. So we have not received the spirit of the world, but the spirit of Yahweh, that we might know the things that are freely given to us of Yahweh. Look at that. The things that are freely given to us of Yahweh. It don't cost you nothing to come here. You don't charge no one to come here and keep the feast days and all that. It don't cost you nothing to come here. He said, freely you have received, freely give. People send an offering. And we don't charge. Brother said, well, how much does I have to send? Brother, you send what the Almighty Yah places upon your heart. We don't beg for anything here. Y'all make a way. If you place it upon a person's heart, you send an offering to help that assembly. You send an offering to help this one, that one. You do that. If he puts it upon our heart, that's the Torah of Abba Yahweh. So you got people out there, they teach us that, well, offering is just fruits and vegetables. Really? Well, let me see you take a ton of vegetables down and pay the gas and electric bill today. Take the bananas on down there to the gas and electric company. Take the strawberries, all that. Take it down there and place it. Look here. I'm a member of such and such a place here. I'm here to pay the light bill. Put the strawberries on the counter. I want to see that one myself. What about that passage of scripture wherein he tells you if the offering that you're going to give is too heavy for you, what you going to do with that passage where he says sell it, turn it into money, and take it there and bestow that upon the priest for whatsoever your soul desires after? What you going to do about that? So we talk too much as a nation. A lot of times we don't know how to help out. So then the messengers can rise up, because if we don't know how to help out, we certainly don't know how to live. And if we certainly don't know how to live, then we certainly don't know how to preach. Am I making sense? So he lets us know which things we also speak, not in the words of man's wisdom, but which the Ruach HaKodesh teaches, comparing spiritual things with spiritual. But the natural man receiveth not the things of the Ruach. This is why some, they don't believe in the miracles or the power of Yah. They don't believe in the laying on of hands. They don't believe that it can be done. Now let's be clear. You don't do that now in the form of no assembly line healing. Now just everybody get up. I'll heal you. Let me take my coat off. Woo! Everybody, boom! Everybody here. Come on now. You don't play with the power of Abba Yahweh like that. Because there are limitations even in the laying on of hands. He said plainly to Israel, lay hands suddenly on no man. You don't just, because somebody want to be prayed for. Come on. We had the brother come here. He thought the service and everything supposed to stop. Middle of the service, I'm standing here preaching. According to what I learned, he want everything to stop. I want prayer. Pray for me. So come on, man. So then when I said to the brother, look, dear brother, let's just be honest with each other now. I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you right here. I'm going to help you right now. But I want you to hear what I'm about to say. Every time I see you, it's the same thing. You're in need. And it's always money. Come on, my dear friend. Every time. Come on now. But the natural man receiveth not the things of the Ruach of Yahweh, for they are foolishness unto him. Neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned. You hear that? The natural man, they can't pick it up, because to them they think it's foolish. He can't see into it. He can't. He can't see into it at all, man. But he that is spiritual judgeth all things, yet he himself is judged of no man. How you going to judge Yahshua? You're going to stand above him. Remember what the scripture says about him. It says, consider him who had to endure the contradiction of such sinners against himself. They measured themselves up against him. They hanged him and sat there and watched him to see him die. Come on, look at the sadistic, psychopathic nature of us even then. If you think that's bad, listen to what our father said. They said, crucify him, away with him. His blood be upon us and upon our children. Come on, man. You don't do that. Most parents that love their children, they'll make the sacrifice for their children, won't they? Come on, man. They'll make that sacrifice. And this is what Abba Yah did for us. He sent his son. He redeemed our sons. He sent his son to be our redeemer. We forget things like that. For who have known the mind of Yahweh that he may instruct him? But we have the mind of Hamashiach. So now we can't be too proud we're going to instruct Yahweh when we have the mind of Yahshua. Yahshua had a mind to do the will of Abba Yahweh. You hear that? He didn't buck on the will of Yahweh. He had a mind to do Yah's will. Is that not what he had? That's what we need today. We need that type of mind. He didn't tell Yahweh what to do. He said, I am my Father one, but he didn't buck on it. We talk too much as a nation today, man. We just, as a people, we can't be told anything. Every messenger of Yahweh has to speak according to the things that are written in the word of Yah. If he doesn't, you better look at him close. Let's look at this here. This is the book of Yeshayah, chapter 8, verse 20. One little verse, one small little verse. It says, to the law and to the testimony. If they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. You hear that? If a man ain't speaking according to the word, here we go. The Torah. It is what teaches us. It's what guides and instructs us. If a man is not speaking according to this and to the testimony, all the things that were said somehow, some way connect back to Abba Yahweh's opening will. If we're not speaking according to that, it's because Yahshua, the light of the world, is not in us. That's all that there is. Is that making sense, dear brother? If he's hey, come on, man. We need him. And in order for him to come in, we have to deny the fact that he is not there first. We have to admit he's not in. And then we have to seek him inwardly so that the old man might die, so that the new man might be renewed day by day. This is what's got Israel in so much trouble today, because we got so many men today that are preaching and running, man. They made this a hustle, man. Truth be told, although a lot of Israel are awakening, also you got a lot that are awakening and making this a national hustle. Hustling, the Hebrew way of life. This the new hustle, y'all. Everybody teaching now. Everybody preaching. A lot of times, see, I'm going to tell you one thing about me, though. I don't like this at all. I despise a young generation that talk to elders any kind of way. I'll tell you right now, I don't play that. I don't play that because I come up in an era of time where I believe that in this lifetime, my generation may very well have been the last generation that kind of honored the elders. The old men could say things. In the neighborhood that I grew up in, some of the older men, they were functional alcoholics or whatever type of mentalities that they had. But they got up every day and they worked and they took care of their families. They provided. The different things you saw in the neighborhood, everybody knew whatever went on, but there was a level of respect. There was camaraderie in neighborhoods and communities, and people could say things like, "Don't sit on so and so's front. Don't stay over there. Y'all keep your voices down." You did, and we, yes, ma'am, or yes, sir, yes, sister, and you did that, and you honored them. Today, you got a generation now. This young generation, they don't feel alive or vibrant unless they're fighting and bucking and rebelling against the elders. All you gotta do is just be older than them, and they despise you. But because they don't understand the spirit that is upon them, they despise you because their mothers and their fathers started neglecting their true duties to Yahweh and Yahshua. So then they were not able to teach them. So then they come up with things that were missing. You hear what I'm saying? Things that were missing. I watched a 2-year-old baby do something. I gave my grandson a toy the other day. Little car. I know he likes little cars. So I give him this car. He looked at it. He was highly impressed with it. And he played with it. He did everything he could do. He played with it all day. And I had to go out. I took care of some business and everything. And I come back. By the time I come back, his mother had put him to bed. But he put his car in a spot where he knows that I'm going to sit. In other words, hold that for me. You gave it to me. Thank you. Appreciate it. Hold on to that for me. I'll pick up with it tomorrow where I left off. And that's the first thing I noticed when I came back. I said to myself, "No, why did he put it here?" Because I gave it to him, then he's entrusting me with it. Thank you. All right, I'm finished for the night. I gotta go to bed. I'll get it when he entrusted it to me. I said, look at that. Think of a generation of young men today who saw their grandfathers work and provide, who then saw their fathers partially work, partially provide, who in turn knew that what was coming behind them was even less than what they got. So that now you have a generation whose fathers did not work because their fathers saw their fathers partially work, because their fathers saw their fathers fully work and did not keep it afloat. So many different things in society have destroyed us and broke us down, but yet this generation, they're angered by a lot of it. They don't know how to turn that information around. They don't know how to turn to Abba Yahweh, because see, even now, they're making the word of Yahweh a hustle. Everybody's mad. Everybody's bitter. Yah's not going to rebuke the nation of Israel forever. He's going to have some mercy on us because we are in a pitiful, we are in a lowly, we're in an extremely sinful state. And if Yahweh does not have mercy upon Israel, we'll be like unto the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. That is why he says that he would have mercy upon us. But mercy of Yahweh ain't laying around on no beach somewhere waiting on us to swim to it. We're going to have to strive for it. We're going to have to reach out to it. We're going to have to go to it in order to receive it. Are you listening, Israel? So today we have this generation of Israelites now. They don't listen to nothing. That's why I say, man, I don't let the young men, even in the sacred name, you be careful how you talk to me. Because I can honestly attest to the fact that I come up in this way of life. I watched those elder mothers as they submitted themselves unto their husbands. I watched them as they took care of the Kedusha, as they washed the Kedushan's feet, as they sewed clothing, as they provided. I'd be damned if I'm going to have a young man who didn't see those same things in his lifetime talk to me any kind of way now because you think you're in this way of life. Because first and foremost, what you learn is you're going to have some respect for the Zakin of Almighty Yah. Whether a man loves me and likes me or not is irrelevant to me, but I will not let you disrespect yourself by attempting to disrespect me. Because if I let you berate and low grade me, the day come around when you got to reap what you sow, you're definitely going to reap it. But if I can slow down your reaping process, it's because I'm going to stop you from sowing seeds like that. No, we're going to bust that down. No, we're not going to do that in these assemblies. No, sir. See, it's only through the Ruach of Almighty Yahweh. Let's go to the book of Matthew, chapter 1. I'm going to show you something. Because, see, it's only through the Ruach of Almighty Yahweh that the deeper mysteries of his word and his kingdom are revealed anyway. Let me say that again. It's only through the Ruach of Abba Yahweh that the mystery and wisdom of his kingdom are revealed to us. We don't know all the stuff we think we should know. Let's look at a story that's true in every aspect of being in the word. And watch what we need to look at. And you'll say to yourself, yeah, you're right. I never looked at it like that. You ready for this? Let's go to the book of Matthew, chapter 1, verse 18. I want you all to hear this. It says here, now the birth of Yahshua HaMashiach was on this wise. When as his mother, Miriam, was espoused to Yusuf, before they came together, she was found with child of the Ruach HaKodesh. You hear that? Before they even came together, she was found to be pregnant. Then Yusuf, her husband, being a just man, not like the brothers in the street today. She a hoe. She done done put it all on Instagram and all that. It's been everywhere. No. He says Yusuf, being a just man, he was a righteous man, and not willing to make her a public example, was minded to put her away privately. In other words, he was thinking, I'm going to just go ahead and divorce her. I ain't even going to worry about it. I ain't going to make a bunch of noise. I'm going to just go ahead and just get a divorce. I'm going to just go ahead and let her go. But while he thought on these things, behold, the Malach of Yahweh appeared unto him in a dream, saying, Yusuf, thou son of David, fear not to take unto thee Miriam thy wife, for that which is conceived in her is of the Ruach HaKodesh, and she shall bring forth a son, And thou, look at this word, thou, you shalt call his name Yahshua, for he shall save his people from their sins. Y'all looking at the verse? Now, this man wasn't looking at no book. This man wasn't looking at no DVD. Wasn't looking at no video clip. He wasn't on Facebook. Something from another world that had power to transcend its world into this world that we know. But if that's not enough, while this man was yet asleep, it had the ability to create its presence in his mind. This is not a nutcase. This is a man dealing in the power of Yahweh. Are you listening? See, when people don't believe in the power and the miracles of Yahweh, you better watch it. This is power. This is revelation. So this man, he was able to appear. This malak caused an appearance in his dream unto him in a dream. This is serious, man. This is a whole nother set of worlds. He's in the world, just like you and I are. But nobody's in your head. But now that which came from the world of Yahweh that we do not see has some power to instruct this man in a dream. This ain't no psychopath. This ain't no nutcase. This is what you want to be tapped into. You want Yahweh guiding you. And I'm going to tell you all, man, you start looking at the works and the minds of men like Jim Jones. Just study the pattern of behavior of them. And then just look around the world and watch the emulations of it, because it's all that one and the same spirit. Yahweh doesn't operate like that. This is how Yahweh operates to his servants, to his messengers. This man wasn't claiming to be no great man, but it says, while he thought on these things, behold, the angel of Yahweh appeared unto him in a dream. Now, this was in the man's mind, okay? This was in the heart of his mind. I gotta just go ahead and get rid of her. I'm gonna put her away privately. That's what he said. So in thinking that, and it pressed on his mind, he went to sleep with it on his mind. And Almighty Yah sent a malak to reassure him. Listen to that word. To reassure him. And when this babe grew up to become Hamashiach, to reassure you and I, he promised to send us something. And the reassurance of it, he even gave it a title. He called it the Comforter. Y'all hearing me? You're hearing me, Israel, but you're not hearing me. He called it the Comforter. This is why Israel can boldly and comfortably believe all things in Yahweh's word, because it is given unto them that know and believe the truth. You don't let nobody beat out of your mind or out of your head what you know is the truth. That's brainwashing. You don't let nobody walk up on you and beat it out of your head. You stand firm in it. That's the way the world works today. The world try to make you listen. During the Kennedy assassination, I remember working with a group years ago. We were looking at it and we put a lot of evidence together. We were studying some things, and it wasn't nothing special to me. I just was getting my investigative research skills sharpened. I was learning how to look at facts and look into things. Anyway, what we learned was that 90 eyewitnesses to the Kennedy murder, 90 people that they were all out there that day that they got, 90 people all mysteriously died within a 90-day span of time of seeing and saying what they saw. 90 eyewitnesses to the same murder died within a 90-day span of time. Are you listening? Heart attack, stroke, automobile accident, robbery gone bad, whole bunch of different stuff. But all 90 of the witnesses all died in a 90-day span of time. And in some instances, the people, the government, and the agents were telling them what they did and did not see. You listening? Somebody gonna tell you what you saw. What color is your living room? Red and brown. Now you said that kind of slow, like you. Let me ask you again. What color is your living room? Okay, give me another answer now. Brother, I'm gonna use somebody. What color is your living room? Okay, orange. All right. Now you sure? Surely it's got to be green. For those that are viewing by way of the live stream, my Isha spelled it out. She says it's orange. She said Orange. Orange. And what she said? The point I'm trying to make in this demonstration, me and you gonna talk, bro. The point I'm trying to make in this demonstration was you can't let somebody make you unsee what you saw. Just like when we hear the preaching and the truth of it, you can never unhear what you heard. You might go away and forget it, but you cannot unhear what you heard. Make sense? So this is why the children of Israel must be strengthened. This is why the messenger said, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits, whether they are of Yahweh. You don't let nobody go now beating the word of Yahweh out of you. You start reading this in the book yourself. In the book of Hebrews, a very excellent piece of testimony where he says, for it is impossible for us to have been once enlightened and tasted of the gifts of the Ruach HaKodesh and of the beautiful things to come, that if we should fall away, it's impossible to renew us again unto it. So then when you learn it, you come to understand it, you lock yourself in position. You don't shift, right? You stay in what you know to be the truth. I don't care who it is. You stay on the path of truth. Don't let nobody tell you what you did or did not experience in y'all, what you did or did not see. Now, if you're lying, then you got to fess up and say, well, I didn't see. That really wasn't it. All right, you're right. You got me. But the truth, we cannot back down for the truth because we can do nothing against the truth. Y'all hear me? So now the government gonna tell these people what they did and did not see. You didn't see that. That is not what you saw. Well, you tell me what I saw. That's the appropriate answer. But everybody that stuck to their story mysteriously died in a 90-day span of time. Just a little history note, something that they don't talk about every day. But that's weird that stuff like that happened, and then somebody tell you, oh man, that's just coincidence. Okay, all right, just coincidence. Just like the camera caught the little building 7. The first 2 had already been down. Then the other building, cross street, planes didn't hit it. Somebody just happened to have a camera there on the other side that was filming it, and you see all these charges going off in the building. Boom, 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 boom. You see all these lights going on like Christmas trees, and then all of a sudden the building just, I'm tired, I'm out, and drops. Just want to throw some stuff out because that's the way the world tries to do your faith. They try to tear down what you know, and yeah, to be saved, you got to stand firm on what you know to be the truth. You hear me, Israel? To be saved, you have to stand firm on what you know to be the truth. That's all that there is to that. You know, second guessing that. Let's do this real quick. Let's go to the book of 1 Timothy chapter 4. See, if Israel going to have their faith increased in Abba Yahweh, they got to be on the watch, even among the brethren of Israel, because a lot of this stuff is happening now. Listen to this. 1 Timothy 4:11. He says here, these things command and teach. Let no man despise thy youth, but be thou an example of the believers in word, in conversation, in love, in ruach, in imuna or in faith, in purity, till I come. Give attendance to reading. You know, attend to reading the book. To exhortation. Exhort one another to stay in the way. You can't deny this. Deacon Reggie run their service, and he always close out every week with an exhortation. He always pleads with everybody to stay on the path. I watch and I listen to him real close. He always exhorts that you stay on the path. Does he or does he not? Here it is in the book. It says, give attendance to reading, to exhortation, to doctrine. Do we not try, according to the doctrine of Yah, to keep the people in the right path? He says, neglect not the gift that is in thee, which was given thee by prophecy. Notice, Yah gives Israel varying levels and gifts. You can't have your position or your story always overshadowing the position or story of someone else. Sometimes someone may have accomplished something in life in Yahshua greater than yourself. We have to understand it. We cannot all always be the center of attention. You hear me, Israel? The body, because one or two parts are less comely or less seemly, does not mean that they have to be cut off and or discarded. You think that they do? Go home, get yourself a pair of snips, cut your pinky toe off. Try it, call me, let me know what happened. Now I guarantee we ain't gonna get a single taker in the building. Anybody ready? I got some snips in the back now. If you're ready, let me know. Let the record reflect. Nobody want to take the challenge. So it's the same with the body of Yahshua. We don't want to cut one another off like that. We all have the contributing role that Abba Yah grants unto us, okay? So he says, it was given unto you by prophecy with the laying on of hands of the ministry, of the messengers, of the priesthood, of the men that knew what to do, when to pray for you. He says, meditate upon these things, give thyself completely to them, that thy profiting may appear to all. Y'all has to give some people sometimes the gift of prophecy, the gift of understanding, the gift of health, the gift of healings, the gift of miracles. He's got to give some the gift of teaching, the gift of preaching. He's got to give that and give it severally as he will. But it says, take heed unto thyself and unto the doctrine. Continue in them, for in doing this thou shalt both save thyself and them that hear thee. Make sense? This is what the messengers of Yah have to do. They got to take heed to it as well, so that they save themselves and anybody that's listening. We got to do it that way. A lot of times, man, we just don't want to hear it, man. And it's difficult to get people to see that. Listen, what are we saying? Believe not every spirit, but try the spirit. Now, it is written that many false prophets shall go out into the world. Is it not written? Then we should carefully examine the pattern so that we recognize the works of false prophets. Am I correct? Come on, let's go to the book of Matthew chapter 24. Let's go to the words of Hamashiach. Matthew 24, I'm going to start right around that fourth verse through the, let's see. Let's start at 4 through 14. Let's just look at what Yahshua said, the master teacher. And Yahshua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. That's step number one, everybody. Take heed to the message that he's saying. Pay attention so that no man deceive you. Okay? For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive many. How does one want to take this? Is he saying that many people are going to come preaching in his name, saying, yes, Yahshua is the Messiah? I want y'all to listen to what I'm saying. Many shall come in his name and shall say Yahshua is the Messiah. But they're going to have some faults and some failures if by chance they themselves are not real. So don't think because people are saying that there is some signs, and we got to get into what the book says. But he's also saying, many shall come in my name saying, I, meaning personally, I am the Messiah. Follow me. You listening now? You got to look at this and look at it from all angles, because Shaitan leaves no stone unturned when he comes to deceive the people of Yahweh. He ain't going to come picking and choosing. He's looking at everything. Why? Because he knows the word. We can't play on him or sleep on that. But he says, and shall deceive many. You listening? Shall deceive many. And you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So you have wars. You had them. So from the coming of Yahshua to our present day, there have been wars. Rome had wars. Italy had wars. France, Germany, different nations, they've had wars. So let's not act like these things did not happen, okay? It happened. Let's go a little further. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there should be famines, pestilence, and earthquakes in diverse places. Let's understand something. You can't have the battle of Armageddon without the emergence of the mark of the beast. Because the mark of the beast system, according to the scripture, I ain't talking about what some man rambling about. I'm talking about what the book says. It's going to be a global system that is so unfair and so unjust that it's going to cause the nations to get angry with one another, so that nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. You're not going to have one without the other. So then the messengers of Yah must be able to understand this. Now I want to go and pull a messenger's quote so that we see what the messenger saw, and we'll understand again how something from another world comes into this world and causes a messenger of Yahweh to see into and understand that which is not recorded in books. Can we deny it? Can we say that it is untrue? If it was a revelation and the messenger of Abba Yahweh received it and then stands there and talks to Yahweh, and Yahweh says, you and you alone have seen it because I have shown it unto you. What are we going to do with that? We can't deny that. We need to believe it. We need to pay attention, okay? He says, All these things are the beginning of sorrow. Notice, as I'm saying, according to scripture, it has to come up. The nations cannot agree and get along forever. Even the scripture in Thessalonians says, for the time will come when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction shall come upon them from which they shall not escape. Verse 8 says, all these things are the beginning of sorrow. And they shall deliver you up to be afflicted. If people keep on preaching pie in the sky and soft messages and telling us that it's not going to happen and it's not going down this way, they are going against Yahshua. They are lying now. You are going to be in tribulation. You're going to be in great trouble. And this earth, if you're looking at the political and social conditions of the world, you can see it slowly but surely gathering momentum. It's gathering up enough steam. It's getting some combustion together. And they ain't doing that to just stop and, hey, you all the Israelites, we're going to give you the kingdom. It's not happening like that. He's got to fight them for it. And he's got to fight to deliver his people. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted and kill you. Look at that verse. See, this is that part where make people cowardly and make them run away. They don't want to face that. Yeah, so of course, listen. We're not saying that he's going to kill everybody. When Yahshua said kill you, he's talking among the nation. Yes, they're going to kill some of y'all servants, some of his messages, some of his people. But that's all right. He says if you lose your life for his name's sake, you shall find it again. Hallelujah. Let's not muddy the beauty of the waters. If you've ever gone down to a lake and just stood down at the bottom of the waters, if it's not too muddy, you can stand there and look. You can see the rocks and all things. If the waters ain't disturbed by it, you can see down there in it, right? But if you take a stick and start moving it and move things around, you muddy the waters. Now you can no longer see clearly. Let's see clearly what Yahshua is saying. I ain't worried about what man is saying. Let's look at what Yahshua is saying. So if they're going to deliver you up and kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. This is the thing they don't want mentioned. They do not want Yahshua mentioned. He is the salvation of the world. Then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. How are you going to get along with that? The very verse itself says people are going to be offended at the truth. They're going, nah, I ain't with that. No. They'll betray you. When that system come out, Elder Schuler did say many years ago, he said, well, I don't bother that message there. That message there, time comes, people get hungry, people want to eat. People do anything to eat. Some people going to take that mark. That's what the old man said. I sat right there. That thing shook me some kind of bad because it was a reality of truth we had to face. He did say it. He said, some people going to take that mark. Yeah, well, if you're going to read Daniel real close, especially Daniel 11? He talked about the time when the children of Israel come down to the point where they fall. And many of them shall be helped with a little help. That means some of these people going to know what it is and take it anyway. But all at the same time, y'all will command that some of them help you. Scripture says that the earth has a place where she will hide the woman, opened up herself. She has a dwelling place, hiding place for the woman. Come on now. People don't see patterns in the word. I question ministers now that can't see the duality of Old Testament and New Testament. When we don't look at things like the first Passover and Yahshua's last Passover, and we don't see the patterns and the striking similarity, I question things like that. I question Israel coming up out of the land of Egypt, and then the world. That final gathering of Israel. It's the same way Yahweh brought Israel up out of the land of Egypt. He's going to bring them up out of all the nations this time around. That mass exodus. The scripture says that they shall ask the way towards Zion with their faces towards it. You're going home. Hey, man, how'd I get this? Oh, you got to go that way. You already going that way anyway. Come on. Some of this is revelation. But people don't want to hear that. And many false prophets shall arise. There it is again. And shall deceive many. You start telling people the bad news, the rough parts of the scriptures, the hardcore stuff that's going to take place to prepare them. And if it ain't you, but the generation behind you, then at least you are responsible for preparing those that come behind you. You got people that are liars. They will lie and tell you this is not going to happen. So then Yahshua lied. He put it in the book. These words are in red, aren't they? It symbolizes his blood. Hey, anytime a man places his blood on it, that's a covenant. That's the oath. And they put it in red to show you these were the things he said. I'm not backing up off of what Yahshua said. We can walk in any line. Listen, the other day I walked downtown. In fact, it was the same day I said I had left the little job site, was checking some stuff. I go downtown to the main library down here. I didn't know they had a reconstruction project inside. They done tore the whole library up. It's in shambles. It's everything. I know it's going to look good. I'm looking at the work. I was walking around, supposed to be going to look for something, but I'm looking at the work. I'm fascinated with the building trade. So I look at work. I was watching how the stone masonry, I was talking to the men and how they had reconfigured the stone out front. Now, we just had a good time talking. He said, "You looking for a job?" I said, No. He said, "You sound like you know what you're doing." I said, "I just like construction. I ain't even telling him what was or nothing." But they did such beautiful work. I'm walking through and I go into the library. I'm looking for something. I had a subscription to a particular magazine. Right around the time that the two most important articles that came out appeared in the magazine was right around the time, strangely enough, that they stopped my subscription, which was paid for. So two of the most important articles that I needed, they ran it in the January, February issue, and then again in the March, April issue. Then the May, June issue come in the mail. July, August issue come in the mail. So I'm in the library the other day and I'm looking at the two that for some reason or another my subscription missed. And I'm reading the articles and what I'm looking at backed up something that I was trying to teach on the air the other day. And I'm like, look at there. See how Yahweh worked the thing out? I said this, that, and the other based on research and evidence that I had and didn't have those two articles, but yet talked as if I had read the two articles. Not sitting up guessing, but based upon other research. So I'm like, okay, let me go back and get the two back issues because now I need the evidence in the file. See, that's what people despise me because there's certain stuff I keep. I don't keep everything, but it's certain stuff I tuck it away. Because when the time comes and I say it and the person, I don't believe that. I ain't trying to hear it. Oh, boom, there you go. The white man saying, how about that? Believe it now? Oh, yes. That's how we are. I'm sorry to say it. That's how we are. Brother can say it. We're going to give him hell. Other nation can say it. We're in full compliance. We need to stop that. If we can lie, they can lie. If we can tell the truth, let me be fair. They can tell the truth if they let Yahweh lead them. Is that fair enough? Let's just be fair. But I did have to stop and catch myself. I'm not gonna rule that out. I had to get anyway. So we as the people of Yahweh have to be able to see the prophecies that are written in the book as the earth starts drawing itself to a close. There's a drawdown on this now. They're starting to pull stuff in place. They're starting to tighten the tension in the belt a little bit. And the tightening of the belt and the tension in it is going to cause something to pop. And if we all caught up in it, we're not looking at it, then we're going to miss the beauty of it all. Let me do this. He says, but he that shall endure to the end shall be saved. The verse above that says, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure to the end shall be saved. And this glad tidings, or this good news of the kingdom, listen, this good news of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. Yahweh has a mysterious way of moving sometimes, because when Yahweh puts something in somebody that's small and insignificant, and they don't look like they're nothing, or they don't look like they're nobody, but yet Yahweh said, in my eyes, you are someone. Then he make a way. He says, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put something in you. I'm going to give you a level of understanding of something. And if nobody understands it, don't worry about it. Go forward and tell what I tell you to tell. So we here in Baltimore, minding our own business, wasn't bothering nobody, just preaching, doing what we doing. Y'all sent some help, and the help said we're going to get you to get it out there on the map. So now it's going all over the world. And you can look at them demographics and look at their stuff on their YouTube channel sometime and see people up in United Kingdom. See people down in Australia. You can see people in Africa. You can see people in South America, up in Belize and different places, going on the channel, listening to a poor little brother down in Baltimore doing the best he can, and somebody stand up and say, you lying. But if I'm lying, you go out on the world stage and get the information to back up what you say. Because the information I got backs up what Yahshua says. And they planning on doing it. Don't keep lying to the people and saying you got the truth. Because the truth of Yahweh's word going to show that the world moving on him. And they plan on doing something so stupendous that we better pray. We better pray. Because they plan on doing it. You can look at State Department documentation. You can look at Defense Department public records. Stuff that's public record. Look at it and look at the direction that they're going in. Read their magazines. Read their journals. I'm in the library. I asked the woman, I said, well, look, I'm looking for such and such a magazine. And they come in a set. I said, do you have? She said, well, everything is in alphabetical order. I knew what that meant. That meant I ain't getting up to help you with nothing. I could look at the sister and tell she ain't got but a few more years left, probably for retirement or what have you. So don't come down here messing that up for me by making me get up from behind this desk to work. That was the essence of what it meant. So I went looking for it, and it wasn't there. In my years of research in journalism, I have studied world politics. I don't know why I was led to do it. I just know Yahweh baruched me where I studied global politics. I went to college a little bit. I was there for a little while. I used to sit out there at UMBC here in Maryland and mess with the professor out there that was teaching one of the classes. We used to go back and forth about global politics and different things. And one day he says to me in the middle of the class, he says, why the hell are you here? He said, you really ought to be standing here teaching. Do you realize? Now look, he says, I wouldn't have known what you were saying until I went back last week and looked at that. And you know, you were right, this, that, and other. And he started telling the little white kids and little Asian kids something that I was saying because a couple of weeks before, I made the little white kids cry. I was telling them, I said, the days are coming where what they did to your mothers and your fathers at Kent State and Jackson State when they shot them children on the college campus just for a little peaceful protest and the National Guard came in, just unloaded them guns on. I said, those were your mother and your fathers. I said, they shot them and let you know they had no fear, no love and concern for them. I said, the days are coming in America where right now they did it to us in the 60s and 70s, in the 60s. They did it to you all in the 70s. I said, but the days are coming when they're going to get everybody. They're going to do that to any and everybody at any given time. So brace yourselves. And little kids getting all upset. I said, look, y'all still crying over Kennedy. I said, remember that song? Anybody here? Sing my old friend John. Can you tell me where he gone? And I was bringing that out. And the little kids get to crying and get to sniffing because they sense what I'm saying was true. I said, go look at your history. As they begin to tighten this thing down for greater control of the planet, most of the people ain't for it. Most of the people ain't going to go along with it. And somebody going to fight. And they ain't planning on doing some serious killing. And them little white kids were crying. And the professor told them, he said, I don't know why y'all don't like him. He got a better grip and understanding of it than I do. And he says to me, you don't even need to be working here. Here's what you do. You call this man. He's a very good friend of mine. And I'm going to get you a job because you need to be working at the paper with him. And that's how I got a specific job working with a specific paper right here in Baltimore for about 8 months. Because the man recommended me. So I dropped out. But the research still shows what it shows. The technology is in place, the potential and the capability to do it all over the planet. Not just, stop thinking Africa just some old dirt hole like the world make us believe. Oh man, look. Beloved sister, you sent me a letter the other day. I read your letter and you made me chuckle. You did. You made me giggle on this one. If you want to come to the house of Israel by any chance, you come on to Baltimore. Stop believing the news. The crime in Baltimore ain't no worse than the crime in D.C. The crime in Baltimore ain't no worse than the crime in Texas. The crime in Baltimore ain't no worse than the crime in Virginia. The crime in Baltimore ain't no worse than the crime anywhere else. It's a matter of how the media projects it. Crime and the criminal elements and the shootings and the killings are taking place out in the streets among people that are out in the criminal element like that. I'm not saying innocent people are not getting robbed periodically, home invasions and things like that, but most crime is taking place among the criminal element. They're eating, they're biting, and devouring one another. We're here every Shabbat. I want you to understand that. So don't let the news media do that. I just want to address that. I won't even say the name. I just want to address that. You're welcome to the house of Israel. It ain't like the Wild Wild West where people just out, pew, 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 pew. We got to get rid of that mentality. See, Baltimore did that to themselves. Just to switch the subject for a minute. See, this is how Baltimore did it. They let that idiot white boy, David Simon, write them books. And this is what David Simon did. He went around to all the neighborhoods. Y'all talk too much sometimes. He went to every neighborhood and he got all the names of all the big time hustlers. Everybody you think, I can't even think of another name, so I guess it don't matter to call their names. But any and everybody that was ever in the street that was anything, he took all their names. And what he did was he fictionalized the story and he weaved all the names together. From Cherry Hill and Westport, from East Baltimore, West Baltimore. He took all these names and weaved it together and made these characters in the story and called it The Wire. Or called it Homicide, Life on the Street. So the dummies in this city were just happy here in their hood being called out on the news. But they forgot this stuff was being beamed all around the world. So the people in London was like, oh, Baltimore, I'll never go there. But now London got a knife problem. Stabbings every day. Nobody shoot because he took all the guns and now they stabbing each other. If you take all the knives, watch brick beatings go up. Guaranteed. Everybody getting beat with a brick. Hey, wait a minute. Ain't that how it started? Cain ain't had no gun. He ain't had no knife. He used a rock. Anyway. So the dummies in Baltimore were just so happy to have this. So they beamed this stuff up in Russia and all these other places. So then Baltimore became this grand hellhole for crime and criminal element. As if New York ain't got it. As if Florida ain't got it. Give me some states. Compton. Everywhere it's the same all over. Now, let's hit hard. Let's hit home. You think Mar-a-Lago ain't got crime? You think Pocatico Hills ain't got crime? They might not know what that one is anyway. Throw that one out for the record. You think 10 Downing Street ain't got crime? Throw that one out there. They like, okay, all right, now I get your point. You think 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue ain't crime laden? Truth be told, that's where the wall need to get built. You need to start right there. Just put up a wall, go about 50 feet in the air, and circle the whole 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Crime rate probably go down overnight. But we just need to understand that's how the imagery gets projected forward. And then the people that's doing all the lying, the cheating, the stealing, and the killing, they put on a suit and you respect that. Hi, how are you? I'm here to kill you. I'm here to inspect the neighborhood. Put a red X there. We're going to tear this house down. This piece of crap. Yes. How you doing? So everything. You like your neighborhood? Everything fine? Okay. That's a beautiful little nigger baby. Beautiful little baby you got there. That's the type of stuff they think. And next thing you know, your neighborhood parking lot. So I just want y'all to understand, crime and killing is taking place among the wicked. Yah's going to protect Israel wherever they are. He's going to protect his people. And don't walk nowhere without knowing that. Trust him. He protects us. I don't think nobody in here get out and get up. Well, no, let me not say that. But there's a few of us, we get out and get among more criminal elements than anybody. Right or wrong? And we make it in and serve Yahweh every day of our lives. I tell them all the time, I go anywhere in the city I want to go. I go anywhere I want to go. So Yah's with Israel. Yeah, I just wanted to touch base on that. Because if you want to visit the house of Israel, you come on here. We're going to treat you kind. We're going to treat you right. And it ain't going to be done in hypocrisy. We're going to do it in the love that Yah commands. And you know why we're going to do that? Because to love you is to love him. Hallelujah. Let's get into this. The Apostle Shaul said, I quoted in the Corinthians earlier, he said, we speak the wisdom of Yahweh, not in man's wisdom, but in the wisdom of the Ruach HaKodesh. Let me get to this. This is the Apocrypha. This is second book of Ezra, chapter 7, okay? Second Ezra, chapter 7. You all got to hear this, because when he says we speak the wisdom of Yahweh, he breaks something down that the world would miss. If you think the marketed beasts and the things that are mentioned in prophecy ain't going to come to pass, why are these things even mentioned in the lost books? Y'all ready? Second Ezra, chapter 7. I'm going to start right around verse 19. Here's what Yahweh said. You are not a better judge than Yahweh, or more intelligent than the Most High. For let the many that exist perish, rather than the law of Yahweh, which has been set before them to be disregarded. You hear that? He said, let the many that live, they reject me, let them die rather than have my law disregarded. For Yahweh strictly commanded those who came at their coming as to what they should do to live and what they should observe to escape being punished. But they disobeyed and opposed him. You hear that? Disobeyed, opposed him, and they devised foolish thoughts and conceived wicked wiles and went so far as to say that the Most High did not exist. And they ignored his ways and scorned his law and denied his agreements and had no faith in his statutes and did not complete his work. Is that not Israel? Is that not the world? Therefore, Ezra, the empty have emptiness and the full fullness. Are we being fed in the word of Yah? I'm striving to feed. He said the empty have emptiness. You all wondering why people need a bill of fire, all these different drugs. You ever hear them commercials when they teaching about that stuff? They talk real fast when they get to the death dealing part of it. So may control high blood pressure, heart attack, stroke, this and other suicidal thoughts, tendencies, homicidal maniac, and another thing. You may want to kill your grandmother and shoot yourself when it's all over. That's how they do it. And you got to be sitting there, you got to be listening fast, because he's certainly saying it fast. Why do I want a pill that's going to cause me suicidal thoughts or homicidal tendencies? That's what they say. So then they run these ads in magazines. Put the picture up, person take a bill of fire, looking all happy and silly at the same time. So then you go down to the bottom page, and all the stuff that he said real fast is what's down in a teeny tiny print. And I was looking at one the other day, and I circled two words. Well, two phrases. Suicidal thoughts and homicidal tendencies. Now look at the evil behind that. Tendencies. That means you may kill and get away with it. See, killing one time ain't a tendency. Two or more is a tendency. You take it, you feel like, man, I feel like killing somebody. You hear me? So you wrote that down. Let a person know that's what they might feel like doing. And yet the FDA and everybody else say, approved. Put it on the market. Yeah. I don't want to repeat it, but that's in the high percentages of what they put out from the studies. So they don't even tell all the side effects, in other words. Can you imagine that? And you wonder why children going nuts in the school. You're shooting everybody. Oh, come on. Their parents can afford the medication. Your parents can't. See, sometimes sound like you safer. Yeah, vaccines, all that stuff. So you can't tell people nothing, but hey, man. Anyway, let's go on with this here. He says, therefore, as with the empty have emptiness and the full fullness. For behold, the time will come, and it will be that when the signs come which I have foretold you, the city that appears as a bride will appear, and the land which is now hidden shall be seen. And whosoever is delivered from the evils that I have predicted will see my wonders. For my son, the Messiah, will be revealed to those who are with him. And he shall make glad those who are left in 400 years. And it shall be after those years that my son Hamashiach will die, and all who draw human breath. Now look, the apostles, the prophet, and all them after him, they died. He went on, they fell off the scene, right? So now listen to him as he starts talking about the latter days. He says, and the world will return into its ancient silence for 7 days. Now it takes the revelation to understand the 7 days are those last 7 weeks. I mean, it's the weeks, Daniel's weeks of years, and that last week of prophecy, because it's 7 days. He's meaning the 7 years, counting each year as a day. 3.5 years of the tribulation period is tribulation, but it's mild in comparison to the final 3.5 years when that grand, let's use this word, psychopathic personality of a leader emerges and snaps off on the children of Israel. Can I put that word in there now? We talked about the psychopathic personality. They said it is pleasing and it is acceptable according to the book. Let's say the title of the book was, I see it in my mind's eye. The Wisdom of Psychopaths. Just telling you what they're thinking. Now, here's what the prophet is saying. And the world will be turned into its ancient silence for 7 days. as it was in the first beginning, so that no one will be left. If it's up to them, they kill everything. And it will be after 7 days that the world which is not yet awake will be awakened. This is the kingdom to come. And what is corruptible will perish. This world. And the earth will give up those who are asleep in it. What's that? John 5, 28, 29, is it? When Yahshua says, marvel not at this, for the hour shall come when all that are in the grave shall hear his voice. They that have done to the resurrection of life, they that have done evil unto damnation. Come on. Why are we now not looking at this? So he says, and the earth will give up those that are asleep in it, and the dust, those who are silent in it. And the chambers will give up the souls that have been committed to them. And the Most High will be revealed on his judgment seat, and pity will pass away, and long suffering will be withdrawn. Judgment alone will remain. Truth will stand, faithfulness be strong, and work will be rewarded. And its wages appear, uprightness will awake, and iniquity will not sleep. Look at that. And the lake of torment will appear, and over against it will be a place of rest. Stop. Is that or is that not what Isaiah describes in the 66th chapter? When he says they should go and look upon the carcasses of the men who have transgressed. You can't go over to them. They can't come over to you. Yahshua never said what he said about Abraham and Lazarus in his bosom. He never said it was a parable. Now here the prophet of Yahweh laying out the same vision. How come the messengers don't see this in this age and tell this to the people to give them hope, as opposed to making them think it's just a fairy tale? You ain't gonna keep living in this world forever and running to Walmart. You ain't gonna keep living in this world forever, buying houses, buying cars, shopping, buying, selling. Now, look, at the rate they going along with just the lesbian and homosexual movement, at the rate they going, if they keep going at that pace, they'll make Yahweh get up and go after them like he went after Sodom and Gomorrah. Check the pages of history. Every time homosexuality became the general order of the day, that was the end of that civilization. Check the pages of history. Every time they did it, that brought the end. It's coming. So he says, and the lake of torment will appear, and over against it will be a place of rest. The furnace of the pit will appear, and over against it, paradise and joy. Where was Lazarus and Abraham? Paradise and joy. Where was the rich man? I am tormented in these flames. Come on, y'all. Y'all know this. You should know it better than me. Then the Most High will say to the heathen that have been raised up, see and understand whom you have denied, or whom you have refused to serve, or whose commands you have scorned. Look at this side and at that. On this side, joy and rest. On that side, fire and torment. So he will speak to them on the day of judgment. Now watch this. If this don't take revelation to understand it, ain't no man preaching got no business preaching if he can't see into this. Stop trying to make everything earthly and literal in this lifetime. You got to get up, because as I said before, I say again, things have to happen that are so miraculous where there must be a convergence of the two worlds. The world of Yahweh that he lives in, that is Kodesh, lives in, that is Kodesh, and this world here that is wicked and unjust. He's got to overtake it, and listen to the power of him as he overtakes it. And on the day of judgment, a day that has no sun or moon or stars or cloud or thunder or lightning, wind, water, air, darkness or evening, morning or summer, heat or winter, frost or cold, hail or rain or dew, noon or night, or dawn or sunshine or brightness. Come on, how can he do that if he don't have all power? We sitting around saying it ain't true. People that preach it are fools. Well, I will be a fool gladly for Yahshua. I had to take that. I was called a fool to my face. I had to take it, and I ain't opened my mouth. It was an honor to be called that, because it was at that precise moment I started discerning. You ain't got the ruach you say you got. I picked right up on it. Didn't open my mouth. He says that in that day, no dawn or sunshine or brightness or light Only the splendor of the glory of the Most High, by which all will begin to see what is destined for them. Now, you know that's got to be super serious. Someone come on the scene that stops the sun from shining, stops the moon and the stars from showing their presence, that stops darkness, stops the evening, stops the morning, stops the wind, that stops everything. You mean you don't have enough of the Ruach to see into this? That Abba Yahweh has all power, that all things that he created will get out of his way, that his beauty and his splendor might be seen by all of his creation that love and obey him. Israel, don't keep on playing with the false prophets. You all better study his word and come to know him for yourself. For it will last as though for a week of years. Look at that. This is my judgment and its arrangement, and to you alone have I shown this. Isn't that something? That's what he told Ezra. To you alone have I shown this. Now, why would all the other messengers around dispute the man? If Yahweh put his Ruach in him and sent him to teach, why would they deny what he said? And more importantly, how could they deny it and remain true? We cannot deny the works of the prophets of old and be true to Yahweh. We cannot say that the things in the book are not true and we true servants of Yahweh. Because some of the things that are written in this book defy the common known logic of man. It defies the natural order of this earth as we presently know it. And Yahweh has the power to do it. Come on, Yisrael. We don't pay attention to the things that Yahweh says in his word. Now, if I'm teaching, believe not every spirit, but try the spirit. Let's go back to what the world divided up. They call them the major prophets and the minor prophets. There's no such thing as that. The messengers of Yahweh, we go in the lost books, we start learning that there were many messengers of Yahweh whose names were never even mentioned in the book, but their works and their prophecy were nonetheless valid than Jeremiah or Daniel or Ezekiel. But yet their names never went down in the historic record. And Yah says he will not forget a single one of them. So you see today, the messengers of Yah, the little men, wherever we're scattered throughout the face of this entire earth, children of Israel scattered, gathered in little storefront buildings, little teeny places, sometimes even in the comfort of their home, 2 or 3 gather. If they are teaching and preaching the truth, he said, there am I in the midst. It's when we get out there on that world stage. It's when we get big. It's when we get renowned. It's when we get a name that we better be even stronger in Abba Yahweh than we are. Because if he puts you out there as a national spotlight and the world looking at you like that, you know damn well. Let me say it. You know damn well you better come correct. He put you out there. You better come correct. You better deliver the mail. You hear me? That's why I talk the way I talk. Because I cannot afford to be a false messenger. I cannot afford to be a liar because I ain't got nothing to gain from it. But I got everything to lose. Nah, man. I'm not going to back up off of what is clearly written in the book. Let's go to the big 3. Let's go to Isaiah 56. Now watch how heartbreaking this gets. See, a lot of times we as Israel, we don't like to face our own shortcomings. We always want the good news part of the book. We always want the stuff that make us perfect and don't condemn us. Give me that good stuff. Sometimes we did stuff that ain't worthy of us obtaining that good stuff. Isaiah 56:9. Listen to this. Israel's leaders were being condemned by the mouth of Yahweh. All ye beasts of the field, come to devour. Yeah, all ye beasts in the forest. Look at that. Look how he talked to them. His watchmen are blind. Look at that. They are all ignorant. See, a messenger of Yah can't afford to be ignorant. I don't even use that word. We seek the wisdom of Almighty Yahweh. We cannot afford to be ignorant. Ignorant has a root word. It means to ignore. Something has been presented to you that you refuse to receive. And when you will not receive it, then you disregard it. And when you disregard it willfully, then that's willful ignorance. Ain't no messenger. Y'all got no business being ignorant. No business. You hear that? He said his watchmen are blind. They are all ignorant. They are all dumb dogs. They cannot bark, sleeping, lying down, loving to slumber. You see that? Listen, anybody get a dog, they don't want no mutt. You don't want no mutt. Somebody hop the gate, come in the yard, he running faster than you can run. Don't nobody want no dog like that. Or even worse, they hop the gate in the midnight hour, he won't even bark. He get up, look. Don't nobody want no dog like that. And if we don't warn the people of Yahweh, that's what he's calling us. Dumb dog. You will not sound the alarm and warn the children of Israel. It don't matter that the world don't like you. Tell the truth. He says, yeah, they are greedy dogs, which can never have enough. They are shepherds that cannot understand. Look at that. They cannot comprehend. These are spiritual things. So then he shuts the world of spirituality off from them. They functioning in the flesh, thinking that they're functioning by way of the spirit or the ruach, when it is not. He says they cannot understand. They all look to their own way. In other words, the way I'm doing it is the right way. This is the only way to do it. Do it my way. No, let's do it Yahweh's way. So they all look to their own way. Everyone for his gain from his quarter. In other words, they're going to make sure they cover themselves in their household. That's what they're going to do. Cover themselves in their household. Let me tell y'all a little something about justice. People don't understand. Justice don't always work out in a manner where you walk away always pleased and happy all the time. You run across a man that hasn't eaten in a couple of days. You sitting there with a 12-inch sub. Now, you're eating every day. You're going to go home and eat. But he ain't going to eat again. Have you harmed yourself if you cut the thing in half and give him half of it? Yet you've done justice, though you lost half of what you had. Now he's got half, you got half, you on equal footing, and yet you've done justice. Now the greedy will say, well, hey man, I ain't got nothing to do with that, and keep everything they got and go home and feel like they done right. But it's just, even though you lost half of what you had. See how justice works out? Justice works out in the best interest and the greater good of Yah's word, and it works out in the best interest for all people. Come on, man. People don't know how justice works sometimes. Look at the world. Look, South Africa. You come into the people's land. You beat them to death. You stole from them. You murdered them. You took everything from them. And they patiently tolerated you for a couple hundred years. Now they just tired. They can't make it any longer, and they're taking their land back. Now you got nosy countries that started it. What they really need to do is buy some plane tickets and some boat tickets and go on up to London, start whipping up on them since you instigated it. But anyway, so now you got your mouth in it. America, Israel, London, the big mouthpieces of the world, saying don't take their land without compensating them. You took the land first. So if compensating you means busting your filthy head, then that's your pay. You don't like justice, but you dished out injustice and now want to be paid because justice comes. That ain't justice, man. That ain't fair. Get it, land up, get on out of there. You're not native to that part of the world. Don't come with that garbage. It's our land. We need to face the reality of the fact that we are scattered, as well as the stranger that has gotten within us to get up high above us because we transgressed the Torah. And we transgressed because we would not do what Yah said do. Then we had prophets and Nabis speaking by the spirit of falsehood and seduction, sanctioning us in our evil. That's what happened. We sanctioned that. Dear sister, if y'all cool or whatever, you turn that on if that's what y'all need. I'm just me up here. But anyway, y'all all right. So he says they seeking that. Come, say they, I'll fetch wine. We'll fill ourselves with strong drink. And tomorrow shall be as this day, and much more abundant. They plotting on well. See how it goes? This is what Israel has done. Come on, man. We really refuse to hear Yahweh. Let's go back a little further. Let's go to let's go to the next book. What's that? Jeremiah? Let's go to Jeremiah 23. This what Yahweh says here is so beautiful. People don't even listen to the mercy of Yahweh when he come on, man. Let me just get into it. Y'all all right? Jeremiah 23:21. Listen to this. I have not sent these prophets, yet they ran. I have not spoken to them, yet they prophesy. See what Yahweh said? Number one, I haven't sent them. Number two, I haven't even spoken to them. See, the messengers of Yah, he has to be dealing with his messengers. He says, I am the same today, yesterday, and forever. Yah speaks to us today, even through his son, Yahshua. He is the same. He knocked Shaul down and asked him, what are you doing? Don't you know it's hard to kick against the pricks? The tent of Yah's tabernacle was laid by this man. You ain't going to tear that down. And as a result, the man straightened up his eye. He knew who it was talking to him immediately. He knew who it was. Isn't that something? Today, a lot of time, y'all move against us. We don't even know who it is. We're so far removed from him. But listen to how merciful Yahweh is even in the 22nd verse. Look at his mercy in the verse. He says, but if they had stood in my counsel. In other words, if you were just, I didn't send you to preach. I didn't speak to you. But you got the word in your hand. Now you going forward. Then at least recite what's in the book. He's giving them the benefit of the doubt. And we so blind, deaf, and dumb, we won't even do that. Look at what he says. He says, but if they had stood in my counsel and had caused my people to hear my words. That means you ain't got to add nothing new. Say what Yahweh says in the book. They won't even do that. He says, if they had caused them to hear my words, then they should have turned them from their evil way. If you just tell the people the power of Yahweh's word, the spirit of Yahweh will convict them. If you just say what's in the book and acknowledge as a man, say, well, I ain't strong enough to invent other words. Let me just read what's in the book. That's all we got to do. Come on, man. There's power in Yahweh's word. And it'll shut the devil down every time. So if we had just done that, he said, it would have turned them from their evil way and from the evil of their doings. He asked, am I Elohim at hand, saith Yahweh, and not an Elohim far off? Yahweh ain't all far off somewhere. He only home on your mouthpiece, but he ain't in my house. He ain't just there at your house and he ain't over at the brother house. Yah is omnipresent. He is not unto Israel in all things that we call upon him for. We lack knowledge, ask for it. We lack understanding, ask for it. We lack love, ask for it. Anything in life, if we're lacking, ask for it. But that don't mean now sit around laying and wallowing all on the ground like you're down in the famine of Egypt somewhere waiting on it. Now you still got to get up there some work that still has to be done. Come on, man. We get out here in this world, man, we try our best to ignore Yahweh. And that's why we're in the trouble that we're in today. We're in trouble. We get around sometimes, we run our mouths, we conspire. You got a lot of times we conspire against each other. So you know, conspiring against Yahweh don't mean nothing. Let's prove that. Let's go to the book of Ezekiel, chapter 22. Let me see. That's a heavy word, man. Do you know in society you can get more time for a conspiracy than you can for the actual charge? You hear me? Me and you can sit right here and plot. Hey, man, we're going to go rob this bank. We're going to go do this, that, and other. And one person can hear it and call it in and can get it proved that we were conspiring to do it, yet we never went to do it. You can get more time for conspiring than you can for the actual robbery. Why do you think bank robbers a lot of times don't fear going to jail for robberies? They ain't give him 15 years, and chances are he'd be home in 5. He sit there and chill out. I'm just telling you what I know. Brothers will tell you that. I don't listen. You run into all kind of characters in construction. There was a brother there one time working with him. White boy. He's always a strange character, but he just his life was just so jail. That's all he kept talking about: prisons and jail, prison and jail, prison and jail. Now he's in a halfway house. He get ready to go home. Come to work every day. He was an excellent worker. You know what he did one day? Just didn't come back. He worked all day. Worked the jackhammer. Quitting time. He brushed his clothes off, cleaned himself up, and kept it moving. He didn't go back to the halfway house. He just kept it moving. So you end up getting an additional 10 years for an escape charge when you had less than 6 months to go and you were going to be home anyway. See how stupid the mind functions? Don't just think this is black men, y'all. This is all over the planet now, okay? This is the earth. Everybody, every nation is reaping what they have sown. Don't just go thinking now black folk the only one using dope. You go anywhere, you go nationwide, like we were talking last night. You see white folk nodding now. Come on now. Now, hey. And as if that ain't bad, now old boy want death penalty now. See, now all of a sudden we the drug dealers. Now you want death penalty for drug dealers. Ain't that something? You ain't want no death penalty when crack cocaine and all that other stuff hitting. Y'all ain't want to give no medical treatment then when all our people was suffering back in the 90s, city under siege and all that other stupid stuff. Nightline and all that stuff was born because of crime and stuff. They kept talking about how bad the murders were in D.C. Come on with that nonsense now. Now it's your people. Oh, we got to do something. We need treatment. No. Give them some of that Abilify. Give them that. Send them on the way. Suicidal thoughts, tendencies, homicidal, this, that, and other. But no. Give them that and solve the problem. Yeah, it's a disease now. Isn't that something? You're sick. You're a disease. So I put a disease in my mouth. Isn't that something? A disease. You don't see anybody popping the flu? What you got, man? Oh, flu pill, man. I'll be sick in a minute. You don't see that, do you? So, boy, what's that in that cup? Pneumonia. You don't see anybody? Come on, man. They say anything and we just buy right into it. You know why? Because of conspiracy. Ezekiel 22:25. Listen to the word of Yahweh. There is a conspiracy of her prophets in the midst thereof. Like a roaring lion ravening the prey, they have devoured souls. They have taken the treasure and precious things. They have made her many widows in the midst thereof. See, when you lie to the men, you don't teach them, and you don't lay the Torah out to the men go out and do some of any and everything. Y'all would get mad. He slay them, cause them to become dead, and the women widows. Her priests have violated my Torah. Look who did it now. And have profaned my Kodesh things. They have put no difference between the Kodesh and profane. They ain't said nothing. Neither have showed difference between the unclean and the clean, and have hid their eyes from my Shabbat, and I am profane among them. That's one of the first things we had to battle with when the channel got set up. We had to fight with people about the Shabbat. Poor little sister gonna tell me about the lunar Sabbath. Lunar Shabbat. First thing popped up was a lunatic. Think about it. Moon worship. First thing popped up. We ain't got the right day. When in the history of the world did they shift the days? Now, whatever the names were that they was calling them back in ancient days, we run with whatever it is. When did they stop? Now, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You know what? Hey. Yes. Today Thursday, right? Yeah. Well, look, do me a favor. Back the week up. Today is now Tuesday. We'll have Wednesday and Thursday all over again. Oh, okay. And then boom. So now everybody off on the Shabbat. That's what they teach. And they said we're all off. And now you only get to calculate the Shabbat by knowing when the new moon occurred. So then we say, well, do me a favor. Considering the fact that the book says Yahweh did all that he did in 6 days. And on the 7th day, he rested. And he certainly rested long after the moon was created. So you care to tell me how you pick up on the moon being made on what, the 4th day? And you make that the Shabbat? You care to explain that? We got some false doctrine out here, man. People teaching some of any and everything. You got groups out here, the new moon. The new moon is the full moon. I'm like, okay now. It's been growing all along. But now it's full. But there was no known observable phenomenon that I could see that made the full moon the new moon. How you arrive at it being new if it's been there for the last 13 days? But at least there is an observable phenomenon that matches what history did, what scripture says they did. They watched for the moon. When they saw it, they blew up the shofar. Now, you mean to tell me from the first of the month to the second, the third, on up to the 12th and the 13th, they couldn't see it? They could only blow the shofar on the 14th, on a full moon. I'll keep telling you, some of these people are nutty, man. Out of their minds. But I ain't here to argue with them. You go and worship the moon. You gonna pay for it. Because the moon ain't Almighty Yahweh. So he says, they have hidden their eyes from my Shabbats and I am profaned among them. They don't teach that today. They don't push the significance of keeping the Shabbat. The Shabbat is your refresher. It's your refreshing day. I stand right here and work every Shabbat. And yet am not working. You hear what I'm saying? And am yet not tired either. But I tell you, I sleep like a baby. I sleep in peace. Hey, man, I rest well every night. I told y'all for that. But I can honestly acknowledge to you all, tonight, time I lay down and go to sleep, that's my best rest night of the week. I'm telling you what I know. Because I have labored, I have poured my heart out into the word of Abba Yahweh as best I can. And I do not intend to lie to the children of Israel. I ain't going to be no lying shepherd. No, I'm not going to get caught lying to the people of Yahweh. If I'm wrong or I'm in error in something, I'm going to pray about that thing that Yahweh righting me where I'm wrong. That he strengthened me where I'm weak. Where I've been built, torn down, built me up in Yahshua. But I ain't going to go searching for no lies and deceive and trick and fool people. Not my style. Why? Because the scripture says we need the mind of Yahshua. And he didn't have a mind to lie, cheat, and steal and get over. Let's do this. Let's see if I can beat them. Her princes in the midst thereof are wolves, ravening the prey, to shed blood, to destroy souls, to get dishonest gain. That's the youth. I told you earlier. That's why I don't allow young men to talk to me any kind of way. You let these young brothers today that know a little bit about the book, you let them talk to you, they walk all in your mouth like your mouth is the sidewalk. That's what they do. Lack the experience, lack the depth and the caliber to even understand that which they say, but yet they'll walk all over you like you don't know nothing. I had one brother do that to me. I whooped that brother up so bad in the word. See, I hate to do that. Unlike some of the messengers of y'all, they despise confrontation. I don't look forward to it, but I ain't going to back down when it come my way. And her prophets have daubed them with untempered mortar. This is why the killings and all the stuff you see in the community today going on. The preachers have daubed them with untempered mortar. It's like parts in the wall. Look, if the mortar that came out from between the joints of the bricks and the block or what have you, if the mortar has come out over the years, parts in it ain't going to make it stronger. It's only just going to temporarily cover up the cracks. It's still going to fall. And this is what has been done to us as a people. Nobody says anything to our young men. Nobody says anything to our young women. Nobody really wants to talk to them. Everybody want to pat them on their head and go along with their sins. No, you got to teach them the truth. The people of the land have used oppression and exercised robbery and have vexed the poor and needy. Yeah, they have oppressed the stranger wrongfully. You tell me that Israel don't do this too? This is the same type of stuff we as a nation do today. Why y'all think the hood rules, as they call it? Hood rules. The streets don't run nothing. People are not, we are sick as a nation. We think the streets is where it's at. All the man got to do is cut off the supply of anything you got going on in the streets, and you will really, literally be in the streets. Laid down, even with the street. Let him shut them supermarkets down. Let him cut that gas and electricity off. Let him stop running that water through them houses. Consider most of the brothers don't like the bill, know nothing about it anyway. They ain't gonna run no water nowhere. And if that ain't enough, let him stop the illegal flow of guns and drugs. He controlling it anyway. Let him stop his own source from coming at you and see what you do. You be dead in a week. If that. Come on, man. We don't pay attention to stuff. And I sought for a man among them that should make up the hedge and stand in the gap before me for the land, that I should not destroy it. But I found none. Look at that. He was searching for a man to stand up and didn't find none. He says that we all have sinned. Hamashiach said there's none good but Yahweh, if we're going to use the word, none. He's the only one that has the perfection of sinlessness. That's why he sent his son to show us that you can live it, that you can do it. Right in this earth, you can live Kodesh before Yahweh. You can do it. We keep on trying to act like it's so difficult to do. It ain't hard to do. Y'all say, go do this and go do that, you can do it. Let me tell y'all this in conclusion. See, no man can preach the word of Yahweh and then come along and deny the deeper, darker mysteries of Yahweh's word and still remain a true message, okay? Because somewhere along the line, that sin gonna catch up with you. That go for any of us. So when we do that, it's gonna catch us. Let's go to the book of Numbers, chapter 32. I'm gonna show you something here. Numbers 30 through 13. Let's just use this. I'll get to this, and we'll. If I need to go into a little discussion of the false prophets a little more, I can lay some of that out. But let's do this here. Listen to this. Numbers 32:13. And Yahweh's anger was kindled against Israel, and made them wander in the wilderness 40 years, until all the generation that had done evil in the sight of Yahweh was consumed. You see that? 40 years. Stuff like that. A lot can happen in 40 years. 40 years ago, Baltimore was a thriving metropolitan area. Jobs, housing, every house was occupied. Every house had occupants and families, and men and women, head of household functioning 40 years ago. 40 years later, the city is a hellhole. It is a mess. And for those of us that have grown up watching it, we can look at the policy formulation process and say, this is what took place behind closed doors. This is what happened over there. This is what happened when this company left. This one, that one. All this stuff happened. They took jobs out of the city. They took industry out of the city. They took training out of the city. They took food sources out of the city. They over increased the taxes and all those things, caused people to become slumlords because they couldn't afford the ground taxes and rents and all these other things. They took so much from the city. They shut down the school system. They de-educated and they de-industrialized. So now you got all this stuff that you were taking away and nothing to replace it. So now you got hordes of young men with nothing to do from sunrise to sunset, morning, noon, and night, nothing to do but pillage, plunder, and steal. They feel like they got to get it from somewhere, and because they don't know where the man hides his stuff at, the only one left to prey on is you and I. Come on, man. Don't nobody want to get caught taking responsibility for that. Don't nobody want to say nothing. But Yahweh made Israel wander 40 years in the wilderness because they got on his nerve. He could have wiped them out in a day. He left us out there because there was a lesson to be learned. And we were wandering in them wilderness 40 years, and we were not. We must well face it. We were not learning the lesson that Yahweh wanted us to see. And behold, ye are risen up in your father's stead, an increase of sinful men. Look at what Moshe is saying to him now. You have risen up in your father's stead, an increase of sinful men, to augment yet the fierce anger of Yahweh toward Israel. See, sometimes it's the men. Men run their mouths too damn much. Listen, let's go back and look at this story. Brothers, y'all listen to me now. We say something that ain't completely true. We say, yeah, man, them women talk. And women run their mouth. Women, yeah. Let's go back and get the original yapper. Y'all rebuke Adam, Hawa, and Shaitan. Two of them ain't say nothing. But one of them had something to say. Somebody say he was snitching. Either way, he has something to say. And in fact, he told the truth, but he just put the blame. The woman you gave me. Whew. I'm clear of that one. Yes, you gave me her. She gave me, and I did eat. Whew, I'm clear of that one. Y'all said, no, 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 you're not, no, you're not, no, you're not. And he rebuked everyone involved. He told the woman, I'll put enmity between your seed and the seed of the woman. I'm sorry, that's what he told Shaitan. Put enmity between. He told the woman, I'm going to punish you. In sorrow, you're going to bring forth your children. He brought that. He did that. He told the man, by the sweat of your brow, hard life, hard work, all that produces life. You go back and you read in the book of Enoch real close, it produces life because you require the work, because it keep you in motion, it keep you motivated. Why do you think a lot of the old men, the wiser old men, why do you think they would work all their days? They work till they drop. Why do you think they would retire and just lay back and just, every time you see them, they chilling somewhere, sipping lemonade, watching little young girls go by. And old men were busy. They worked, they labored. They did not sit down and let their bones and their muscles and their minds atrophy. But the young men today, young, full of energy and strength, won't do nothing. I remember one day, years ago, sitting down talking with an elderly mother in a particular neighborhood in West Baltimore. And we fell out laughing on the porch with two different men. Old man came around the corner, walking, just getting it, moving, some kind of fast. No salt and pepper hair, completely gray. He was moving like thunder and lightning. She said, look at that man. He is not playing. He is moving. Look at him. I said, yeah, he in good shape to be moving like that. 30 seconds later, pick him a young brother in the neighborhood we knew. He's about 26, 27 years old. Just creeping up the street. Wasn't high, wasn't drunk, in his natural frame of mind, just creeping. No get up and go, no nothing. And we said, look at that. Tragic. But that's how we function today. You get no young men to do much of nothing today. I told y'all last week I went and looked in the pawn shop just doing a survey for an article I was going to write. Looking at all the tools in the pawn shop. I went to 4 pawn shops in one day. Just looking, wasn't even buying, I'm just looking. I said, look at all the tools in here. I've never seen so many lawn mowers and leaf blowers and different things. And I said to myself, just pricing and looking, I said, and these brothers stand on the street corner selling dope. For $2,500, you could start a business. Go buy yourself 2 lawnmowers, 2 leaf blowers, 2 rakes. They even had a pair of scissors in there. Hand scissors, cutting paper. I said, somebody actually pawned a pair of scissors? And I was looking, thinking to myself, now I wonder who was the man that actually took the scissors and wrote out the paperwork for whoever it was. How much did he get? And I'm being real. I'm not trying to be funny. I was being real. I said to myself, how much did he get for a pair of scissors? But nevertheless, tools, leaf blowers, wrenches, hammers, everything you could think of, hammer guns. I said, these young boys, man, you could buy that stuff and walk down the street, see somebody's door hanging off the hinge. Hey, man, give me $20 and let me put that door back on its hinge for you, man. Come on, we ain't thinking on that scale no more, because the destruction of Yahweh is upon us as a nation, because we are so damned hard-headed, and we suffering right now because them false prophets have lied to us. They smoothed us over. They buttered our bread on both sides. They made everything round. Put your money in the basket. You know how most of them places in Housework, they put the basket right up here. When the money get raised, so the preacher can stand there. When the blessings come down. He ain't talking about coming down there. He mean come down that aisle. No, if you got to raise money and collect money like that, you put the box somewhere where a person can go put their offering or whatever to Yahweh. They can put that in, and they have the privacy of doing that to them for themselves. You have to stand there, watch over that, over the money. You ain't gonna do no more with the money than the next man does. We don't even think on things like that. If you get an abundance of money, then you take the money and you use that for the house of Almighty Yahweh. You enlarge Yahweh's borders, that you might make the place of Yahweh's worship more peaceful, more comfortable for the brothers in Yisrael. That's all you can do. Well, what more are you going to do in this lifetime? You ain't going to do no more in your big mansion than somebody going to do in their little bitty home. You're going to eat in it. You're going to sleep in it. You're going to get constipated, and you're going to go in that little private room and handle your business. He got a house with 6.5 baths anyway. He doing the same thing you do. Now, somebody extremely stupid, truth be told. Somebody extremely stupid. You spent all that money for it. Hey, poor man down the street doing the same thing you doing. He sit down on his little commode. He happy. You go sit down on yours. No, I don't want to use bathroom number 1. I think I'll go to number 4 today. Where you still sit down? Your car, $200,000 for a car. You drive up down the street smiling and giggling. Here, young blood guy, here's for free because he just stole it. He take off fast, slam into you. Yours wrecked. He ain't taking no responsibilities. Now he jump out and run. And ironically, get away. How he get away? Because he see somebody, he buck their head, and steal their car, and you on the other side of town in 5 minutes. Before the police get to the scene to find out what happened to you, he way across town in a new car. We don't want to pray. We don't want to turn to Yahweh. He said, but let's get into this. It says, for if you turn away from after him, he will yet again leave them in the wilderness, and you shall destroy all this people. And they came near and said unto him, we will build sheepfolds here for our cattle, and cities for our little ones. But we ourselves will go ready armed before the children of Israel until we have brought them into their place, and our little ones shall dwell in the fenced cities because of the inhabitants of the land. In other words, we're going to put up cities. We're going to build the wall around our cities because the other people, they heathens, they wicked, they don't know nothing. This is what we're going to do. We will not return unto our houses until the children of Israel have inherited every man his inheritance. Now, isn't that love? They said, we ain't going to do nothing. We ain't going to enjoy it till everybody can enjoy it. For we will not inherit with them on yonder side, Jordan, or forward, because our inheritance has fallen to us on this side of the Jordan. He put them on the east. These are now the watchmen. And Moshe said unto them, if you will do this thing, if you will go armed before Yahweh to war, and you will go, all of you, armed over Jordan before Yahweh, until you have driven out his enemies from before him, and the land be subdued before Yahweh, then afterwards shall you return and be guiltless before Yahweh and before Israel. And this land shall be your possession before Yahweh. But if you will not do so, behold, you have sinned against Yahweh. And be sure your sin will find you out. You see how he let them know? When we do things and transgress, eventually it's going to catch up with us and identify us based on the way in which we have transgressed against him. That's why it's imperative that we just be real with Yahweh. You ain't got to put on no show. You ain't got to put on no airs. Be real. Strive in the depth and the beauty of what you know. Come on up higher. Don't be afraid to learn. That's what the woman told me. Called me up. They called her breaking me out about something somebody else said. I said, I don't control nobody but me. Did you call him? You don't like what he said. Did you call the man? Well, I don't mess with him like that. I said, well, I tell you what. You better stop. Because I don't think you really want to keep messing with me, talking to me the way you're talking. She said, well, you got to understand. Everybody ain't where you at. I said, my dear sister, I understand that. But where you are out of order is you attempting to tell a man of Yahweh what to say and what not to say. Said, I rebuke that nonsense wholeheartedly. I don't know who you think you're talking to. She says, well, I roll with the people. And I'm going to stick with them. I'm a child of God. And I'm with the people, whether they right or wrong. And I said, that's the dumbest damn thing I've ever heard you say. And I'm glad you said it. Because now, as sure as you're born, I'm going to put the scissors to you. I ain't got nothing else to say to you. And don't you say nothing to me. And I meant that. You can't keep on condoning sin. You say you're going to stand with people, whether right or wrong, whatever the case may be. So I let her know, Christina Fly, I ain't got time to play with you. I'm going to stomp on you like you ain't never been stomped before. I ain't got time to play with you. I'm sick of your mouth. See, when people say stupid stuff like that and then try to spend an hour undoing everything, don't keep on big up in what I'm saying, then spend the rest of the time trying to subtly undo it. No. If it's going to be a fight, then let the cat claws come on out. Sick of that now. So people just think that you're supposed to play and fear them. I don't know why it is every time people get mad with the people of Yahweh, that's the first thing they do. They get mad, their voice gets raised. They get to yelling like you can't yell. Come on now. I don't know what it is, but people always do that. And when people get mad at you, I have found this to be true. My father said it, and it is true. He said, you want to know how a person really feels about you? Let them get mad with you. And that's the truth. When person get mad with you, all the evil come out there. Oh, you ain't nothing. Oh, you this. Oh, you that. That's what the brother told me. I said, well, all this negative, nasty stuff come out. I said, I'm glad it's coming out now. I said, 'cause that's showing me how you really felt about me. I said, I'm glad you did it. And well, you and I ain't got to have no more conversation. Don't call me no more. Call me again. I said, didn't I hang up on you once? Yeah. Click it. And makes it twice. See, people forget. You pay the phone bill. You get to talk to whoever you want to talk to. You don't like talking to my hang up. People today, their minds are imbued by evil. And that's what the world wants. They want to be immersed in evil. Most people don't want to do right. Here's what the book says. 1 John 4:2. Hereby ye know the spirit of Yahweh. Every spirit that confesses that Yahshua Mashiach is come in the flesh is of Yahweh. You got to say that. Yahshua, he is the epitome. He is power of Abba Yahweh. He is the strength of all that we must stand for as men. All that we as men want. Talking is power. We want to be free. We want to be this. We want to be that. Yahshua is the example of all that. And all men will not have that kind of power until he who come, whose right it is. And Yahweh says, I will give it him. He is the one that has to set all the nations straight. And we have got to fall in line with him. We're not going to take this power unto ourselves. It is power that we have that will be bestowed unto us by him, whom all power in heaven and in earth is given in his hand. And Yahweh gave that power unto his son, and his son is a man. Yet he's more than a man. And the world don't understand it. And a whole lot of Hebrews don't understand it. We got to really study Yahshua. I'm telling you right now, we've got to study him, because we can make a mistake and stumble, and he is that smiting stone. He is the one that will crush us if by chance we're wrong and want to stay wrong. And every spirit that confesseth not that Yahshua HaMashiach is come in the flesh is not of Yahweh. And this is that spirit of anti-Mashiach, whereof ye have heard that it should come. Even now already is it in the world. Stop right there. This this New Testament time frame, correct? This this a little over 2,000 years ago, huh? So he's letting us know that whatever this spirit was that emerged to be directly against Yahshua, to assert itself to be directly in place of Yahshua, was working in his day. Come on, Yisrael. He was working right in his day. You listening? So if it was working in his day to be against him and to replace him, then when that world system comes up on the scene, what is it going to do? But whatever it is that hates him, that is seeking to be in place of him, it's seeking to replace him. It's got to come to pass. And he's got to overthrow him. He whom Yahshua must smite, as the scripture says, with the breath of his lips. We don't understand the power of that. He's coming in the power of Yahweh. Says he shall slay him with the breath of his lips. Did not Yahweh call all of this into existence? Then it's obvious that that which is against him, he's going to call it out of existence. Come on, man. He ain't got to come down here and exert no muscle. He ain't got to come down here now and you know what? I think Yahshua is about to come back. How you know? I seen him over at Gold's Gym. Working out. Getting ready. Come on now. He doesn't have to do that. He is the epitome of strength. And he is the strength of Yisrael. Come on, man. You are of Yahweh, little children, and have overcome them, because greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. So, hallelujah on that. That's right, dear brother. Hallelujah. He's in you. He is greater than he that is in the world. Right now, we don't even want to offend him that's in the world. That's why if you notice a lot of times preachers, it's just certain messages they won't even touch. They don't want to offend anyone. Funders or sponsors or controllers or rulers. Come on now. We just got to preach and teach the truth. We got to live by it. You ain't got to take up no weapon, or we're going to overthrow him tonight. We're going to get him on the night of June the 4th. Huh? What? Yeah, that's the revelation I got. He said we're going to all go on the night of the 4th. Come on now. That ain't matching the book. You hear me? We have to draw closer to Yahweh. He has us. He knows. They are of the world. Therefore speak they of the world, and the world heareth them. Don't think one minute a whole lot of Hebrews ain't out here right now in the same manner speaking of the world. Come on, man. We involved in a lot of stupid stuff out here too. Look how they did the Pesach this year. Out there rapping, all this. Is there anybody left in the world that ain't trying to rap? Rap is dead. You hear what I'm saying? Rap is dead. We are still around rapping. Give me the gun, give me the gun, give me. Please, boy, sit down. Get a belt and some duct tape. Put the belt on and tape your mouth shut. We are messed up, man. I mean, the world, everybody going crazy. It's Cardi. She can't even talk. Come on, we're crazy. Young rapper, give me the gun. What are you saying, young man? Nobody understands what you rap but you. And your homeboys, they don't really understand it. They just be, that's tight. That's tight. It's not tight. You need your head busted. Sorry, y'all. Just had a moment. We are of Yahweh. He that knoweth Yahweh hears us. He that is not of Yahweh heareth us not. Hereby we know the spirit of truth and the spirit of error. That's all. A lot of people are in the spirit of error today. And the spirit of error got a lot of people too. But I'm going to tell you something about them. Don't waste a whole lot of time trying to deliver them. It's enough to deliver yourself. You have to keep Yah's word. When the days get rougher and tougher, you hold on to Yahweh's unchanging hand. Don't let anything stray you from the path. Stay on the pathway of truth. Love and honor Almighty Yahweh. Give him your all because he is our all. Give him all the honor and the praise. But the word says, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits. You got to measure the spirit of what men are saying. You got to measure it up against what the book says. We don't mind the fact now that the translators got their hands upon it. That's all right. Yah has his hands upon you and I. And he said that his words that he put in our mouth shall not depart out of our mouth, not out of the mouth of our seed, not out of the mouth of our seed, forever, says Yahweh. So you teach this to your children. Teach it to your sons and to your sons' sons. You teach them this honorable, loving way. And believe what I tell you. The rewards are above and beyond the ability of any messenger anywhere in this earth to tell it. Hold on to Yah's unchanging hand. Just right now, that's a cold drink of water. That's the coldest I got. May the blessings of Yahweh rest upon each and every one of you. We told y'all for you, for your kindness, for your patience, for your letters, for your calls, you that have tuned in and sit faithfully with us for a couple of hours by way of the live stream. We kindly appreciate that. Your calls, your commentary, all the different things. Keep us all in your prayers as we will continue to do the same here. We're just going to simply labor in the word of Yah. We're not going to meddle in things that are too high for us, but stick to the things that Yah gives and grants unto us. As Yah commands that we come up higher, we're going to strive to do just that. But again, remember, Yisrael, to pray for one another. Wherever we are, we are scattered throughout the face of this earth, and we are out here, and we are in some grave conditions. And the conditions are destined to grow worse. But the best that we can do is that as we come to the knowledge of the truth, hold fast to that. See that you don't let it go, so that no man take your crown. And may Yah continue to be with you all. Yisrael, let us stand to our feet. Almighty Yahweh, we come before you this very hour, thanking you for the simplicity of the gift of life, for the health and strength. We thank you for the vision of our eyes and the ability to hear with our ears. We ask you in Yahshua's name to guide our hearts, our hands, and our minds. Be with our feet in every step that we take. Order our steps, Abba Yahweh, that we may continue to walk before you in a manner that's perfectly clean and acceptable in your sight. Help us to love and to honor one another as we love and honor one another more and more towards loving and honoring you. Help us to continue to obey Yah. Help us to teach all those that come unto you, regardless of their race or color. Wrap us with the power of your mighty presence that our enemies shall not be able to stand against, to contradict, or to overcome. But more so, Abba Yah, let the world see the light of Yahshua around us, that you have sent us and that we have not chosen ourselves out of this world. Now, Yahweh, ask that at the end of our days that you you be with us in Yahshua's name, to grant us the blessedness of peaceful entry into the greatness of thy kingdom to come, where we can sing praises unto your precious name forever and ever. This blessing we ask of you for all of Israel, as well as the multitude that is to come unto you. In Yahshua's name, we simply make our petition known. May the words of our mouths and the meditations of our heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Yahweh, our strength and our Redeemer. Hallelujah. Shabbat Shalom, Yisrael. May the blessings of Yah rest upon you all. Hallelujah.